And welcome back to the channel, everybody. Here, Lucas Johnson, back with this MLB Show 22 Custom League. And here today, we finally gotten to the All-Star break here in Season 2. And so this will be a stat recap here for the whole American League. And we'll look at the standings as well for the league here in this episode. So stat updates and standing update here as we are in the All-Star break, in the All-Star week. And we start over here in the American League East, and this race has been fascinating for the American League so far this season. You got the two top teams there, and the Honey Badgers and the Barons. Honey Badgers come in with a 57-40 record. Meanwhile, the Barons a game and a half behind them with a 56-42 record. And remember when the Honey Badgers started the season, I think they started the season like 8 or 0-6 or something like that this year. They recovered from that. They've had a great last couple of months. They are 8-2 in their last 10 games. The Barons are 9-1 in their last 10 games. But they've been playing really well. The Firebirds, 52-46, should be right in the mix of the wild card race there, it looks like. But they are doing pretty good this season right now. The Expos at 45-53, then the Wizards at 42-56. So those two teams down towards the bottom of that division here in the AL East. But yeah, this battle between the Honey Badgers and the Barons is going to be a fascinating one as the season continues. Over in the American League Central, the Dragons have one more win than the Honey Badgers do there. They're sitting at 58 wins, 58-40, and this is a big turnaround for this team. 7-3 in the last 10 games, but this is a team that was below 500 last year. They're now up there as one of the better teams in the American League this season. They have played awesome, and we've been able to really showcase them, I feel like, very well in this first half of the season. And then the rest of the American League Central is not playing very well right now. You got the champions of this division last year, the Raptors, at only 2 games above 500. Right now, the Vandals only a 1 game above 500. The Scorpions are 500 exactly right now. Then the Chinooks far behind everybody else at 41-56. So, this is the division that right now has just one top dog in the Dragons. There's still a lot of the season left, and the Raptors could definitely make up some room here in this division. But yeah, the Dragons right now kind of running away with that division, and the Diablos are doing the same here in the American League West. So the Diablos and the Dragons have the best record. They both have 58-40 records going into this season. And the Diablos have been the best team in this division all season long. The World Series champions from last year, only 49-47. The Bison, every other team here in this division below 500. The Bison 46-50. The Jazz 45-52. And the Vipers sitting at 41-57 right now. So here's a look at this wildcard race right now. We only have 2 wildcard teams in this league, and the Barons pretty set for that first spot right now. They're 4 games ahead of the Firebirds right now. The Firebirds are in that second wildcard spot, and then you got the Raptors and the Reapers 2 games back there, 2.5 in the Vandals. So yeah, the Chinooks right now have the worst record in the National League, or in the American League at the moment. And then we move over to the National League here, and this National League East race has been pretty interesting all season long. And, the Stars started out this season really hot, started out the season with this league pretty much in hand, it looked like it. Then they suffered a big injury to Mike Trout, their star. And, you look at the offense, and we'll check these offensive ratings in the next episode. But, yeah, the average and the on-base for them, offensively, just not very good here for them. And their offense has definitely taken a step back this year. So they're only 53-45, and they're only a half game ahead of the Rhinos, who their turnaround this season has been because of their pitching. The pitching is the best in baseball right now. It's incredible. And their offense isn't that great, but this is a crazy turnaround for them. They were 97. They had 97 losses, the worst record in baseball last year. And right now they're a half game away from this National League East, which is crazy to say. The Cardinals 50-48, 3 games back. So are the Crusaders. And then the Pilots are probably one of the worst teams in baseball right now, and so they're not going to be factoring into this division and into this race. But, you got 4 teams there in that division that could legitimately win that division. I think that division race is going to be very interesting down the stretch. And then the National League Central, the Monarchs, the best record, best team record-wise in the National League by a few games. Here they have a 57 and 41 record, and the Sluggers are in good shape. They're 8 games above 500 right now, but they're even 4.5 back of the Monarchs, who look like they're this division. They got this division pretty easily right now. At least they got a good hold on it. And then the rest of the teams here in this division below 500, the Arrows at 48 and 51. The Millers, it's been a disappointing first half for them this year, 44 and 53, almost 10 games below 500, 12.5 out of the division right now. The Blue Sox, 36 and 60. They're the worst team record-wise in baseball at the moment, I believe, unless somebody in the National League West is going to have more losses than nobody does. So, yeah, they're the worst team in baseball right now at 36 and 60. And then the National League West, you got the Sharks right now in pretty firm control of this division, up 4.5 games on the Rattlers, who are just a few games above 500 at 49 and 46. The Spiders, for some reason, they played 2 more games, which is interesting. They still have the same amount of wins, but they're a full game behind the Rattlers because they have 2 more losses than them at 49 and 48. Gamblers at 44 and 53, and the Bees, who won this division last year, they're actually right now last in this division at 43 and 55, which is definitely interesting. I wonder, I think that they've been struggling a bit here on offense. Their on base is only 301 and a 238 average, and their pitching is decent. It's been okay, but it's been worse than it was a year ago for them, and they have kind of hit a rough patch. They're 3 and 7 in the last 10 games. So what the wild card race looks like here, you got the Rhinos and the Sluggers in that. And, really close right now. The Rattlers 2 games back. Cardinals 2.5. Spiders 3. Blues all the way down there, 8.5. Bees at 9.5. Or 8 and 9.5 for those 2 teams separately. So that's what the divisions look like here in the divisional races. So we're going to take a look first off here at the Expos, who second to worst team record-wise in this division here, and I think you'll kind of see why. This is not an amazing team right now, not even as strong as they were last year, probably. And, Zach Wheeler, he's been hurt by an injury earlier than he had this season. Started in 12 games so far this year in the first half of the season, only 81 innings for him. It's been really good. 81 really awesome innings for him this season, 23 earned runs allowed, and that's been it for him over those 81 innings. A sub-1 whip and a 2.55 ERA, 9 quality starts already, accumulating a 1.5 WAR. But yeah, Zach Wheeler's been really good in his time at the majors this year when he's been healthy. Just having to fight through injuries this season. And then Kyle Gibson this year, he's 35 years old. He is declining a little bit, especially in the home run per 9 stat right there. As you can see, -5 in that stat. And yeah, this season so far, it's not been nearly as good. He was kind of up there considering a Cy Young type of season last year, really, with a 2.46 ERA. He has an ERA just around 4 so far this season. Dallas Keuchel in 106 innings, a 4.46 ERA, not great, and he's also declining by quite a bit. So, 35 years old, he's under contract still, but yeah, he's not had a good season that much. And then Merrill Kelly, 4.28 ERA for him and 115 innings, 34 years old. And, some of these older guys with the trade deadline happening just like a week or so after All-Star big stuff, some of these guys, you would want them to have good numbers because these guys could all be trade candidates for this team realistically in this season. And Michael Pineda, 5.07 ERA and a 1.46, nearly a 1.5 whip. So right now the pitching on this team is just not been good at all, really struggling with the pitching, especially, besides Zach Wheeler, that's basically it. But Every other pitcher has an over 4 ERA in that starting rotation. Not ideal at all. Julian Merriweather, he was great last year as a long reliever. This year so far hasn't been all that amazing. 82 innings, 39 runs allowed so far, 4.28 ERA. And then Josiah Gray, 76 stamina. I mean, he's actually getting some decent increases here. We'll see in a thrust 3 to home run per 9. I'm interested to see, maybe second half of the season you move him over. How he has started 8 games this year, but maybe you move him to being a full-time starter post All-Star break, because he's actually got some good numbers here. 47 earned runs so far and 106 innings pitched, a ERA below 4. The whip is definitely high, has a lot of 96, 93 hits there, and has walked quite a lot of guys at 68. So he has a lot of base runners, but overall has been okay at preventing runs. Better than better than Kelly, or better than Michael Pineda has this season. So maybe you consider moving him into that number 5 role and doing something different with Pineda, and that's actually what we're going to do here for this team and move Gray to being a starter in the second half of the season. We'll see how that goes. Josh Delmont, 82 overall. I mean, some increases here, but he's kind of struggling this season so far. 20 runs allowed in 33 innings for him so far, so he's not pitching the greatest. And, last year he only gave up 7 runs across basically the same amount of innings. One less inning, he gave up only 7 runs. So just year to year, you never really know what you're going to get with a lot of these relief pitchers, and that is unfortunate. I mean, that's just like such a drop-off from year to year for him, at least. And then Miguel Castro, gave up 20 runs and, only 14 more innings this year. He's had another 3 ERA and has been actually pitching pretty well. Nick Tropino, 43 innings for him and 18 runs allowed, a 3.74 ERA. So, I mean, the whip for him pretty high because he's given up a lot of hits, but he's been okay. Cole Stewart, pretty limited sample, only 15 innings, but has already given up 9 runs, which is obviously not ideal. And then Jamie Wendelken here, 25.2 innings for him, and he's been good as his team's kind of setup guy here. Only has allowed 8 runs, and, he pitched about the same amount of innings all of last season, and he gave up, 6 more runs than this here, or 7 more runs than this, he's given up this season. So, yeah, his numbers this year definitely have been better, have been an improvement. He's been a pretty decent setup guy. And Corey Knebel has been a good closer for this team this season. 51 innings, had 43 saves a year ago, and so far has only blown 1 save all season long, 24 saves in total. This year has only allowed 9 runs, 39 strikeouts across 30 innings. So these are really good numbers for Corey Knebel here, and I don't know what his contract looks like, but, okay, 3 more years. It would be 2.5 more years. He might be a guy that they might look to trade at the deadline, but, if not, a guy that they could trade in the future for sure. But, yeah, I think that this team, they got some guys that they might be looking to trade, and they might be decent sellers. I would assume they're going to be sellers at the trade deadline. They might be able to move some of these pieces that they have on this roster. And then Kyle Harrison is a prospect down here at AA or AAA for this team, +4 to hit per 9 already, which is, really good increases. And he's been good in 18 starts this season. 107 total innings pitched this year, only 33 runs allowed, over 100 strikeouts already. So he's got the strikeout ball working for sure this season. 10 quality starts for him and 18 starts overall and 1 shutout. So yeah, Kyle Harrison, he's a really interesting pitcher here. I don't know if we'll see him in the majors this year. He's still only 21 years old, but he's somebody in the farm system or in the minors to kind of look out for in the second half of the season, especially if he pitches as well as he is pitching right now. And then you got Richie Wolf here, the number 1 overall prospect, the number 1 overall pick. Maybe not prospect, but he is the number 1 overall pick from last season's draft for the Expos here, and he's looking really good already. +2 increases for him across the board in a AA, and he's been good here in AA. 112 innings pitched and 18 starts for him, 43 walks to 74 strikeouts. So, his whip is 1.26, a little bit higher than you would want. And gives up the hits is quite a bit there. But overall, 36 runs, 13 quality starts is actually quite a lot there. 13 quality starts out of 18 starts. So, he's pitching really well. I think Richie Wolf, we'll probably see him. We'll see him in the Futures game here coming up in a couple of episodes. And we should see him in AAA this season at some point, maybe sooner rather than later, actually. Harold Gonzalez, see potential guy pitching really well. So is Levi Stout. My goodness, see potential guy here who's has a sub-2 ERA. I kind of look at that, and I don't, if a C potential guy has been pitching really well in the minors, I do tend to reward players for that. I don't increase the potential of everybody that has been having good seasons like that, but if a guy has a under 2 ERA, I probably would be tempted to change their potential. Vincent O is also another big job pick that this team got last year's job, +4 to hit per 9, and so far 31 innings for him. Probably will see him in the Futures game as well. 23 saves and 26 opportunities, 10 runs given up in 31 innings. Now, he does struggle with the walks, and he has 19 of those so far this year. That is definitely his biggest weakness, but overall, there's some pitching prospects here on this team to watch out for, and either, probably no pitching prospects that, Josh Harrison, again, is a guy that might get a MLB look this season. Those other guys, not so much, but yeah, the pitching, not great on this team. And the offense here is very up and down, and not super stable and not super consistent. Nicky Lopez, only a 634 OPS, just really does not hit the ball very well. Not a great leadoff hitter, only a 289 batting average for him. His defense is good, but that's about it. That's all he really does. And then Hansel Alberto, he signed him in during the season when the season was actually already started. And, he's actually been good. 250 at-bats so far this year. 6 home runs, 27 RBIs so far, 330 on base, and a 292 average. So, he's not going to be a starter on a lot of other teams, but he's actually not doing too bad so far in this season. Ryan McMahon, just not very good here. 233 average. He's an 86 overall. His hitting stats look like he might actually be decent, but man, he just does not produce in this game. Doesn't really produce in real life. Not much either, but yeah, just over a 700 on base percentage. And they kind of change up this lineup, which I did not want them to do here, it seems, but I'm just kind of adjusting some of that there. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. here, +6 to Kana versus lefties so far this season, and he's been hitting the ball really well, pretty close and pretty similar to last year so far in terms of OPS and slugging and all that. But he's slugging and his on base. Everything is higher than it was, and he is on pace for more home runs than he had a season ago also. So, I like this season from him. He already has, 1.5 WAR. So, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., a guy that might be on the trade block for this team going into the trade deadline, but he's definitely hitting the ball pretty well. And some of these other guys, like George Springer, would be a guy to look to trade. It's just his contract is really big, but he's doing well so far this season, better than last year. So far, 824 OPS, 20 home runs, nearly 50 RBIs. He might show up in the All-Star game. I'm not sure. 2.6 WAR for him is pretty impressive. He almost had that much more all of last season over the course of the year. So, George Springer has been hitting the ball pretty well. So, yeah, he still has, as you saw there, 4 more years of that contract, which does mean that I think trading him may be a little bit less realistic for this team just because of the amount of money that the other team would have to take on in order to acquire him. Then you got Alex Kirilloff here, who's, still very young, only 25 years old, 86 hits so far for him, and 822 OPS. 500 slugging, that's really impressive. He's almost matched his career in home runs already this season with 16 of them. He had 17 last year, so he's probably going to reach a career high in homers has already blown away his WAR this season, and will probably, I mean, barring kind of a collapse, he will get a career high in RBIs too. So good first half for Alex Grove. A lot of cold streaks in this batting order though. Overall, as you can see. Then Joey Votto, first half of the season for him, probably his last year in the majors here at age 39. These are good numbers for him as well. He's getting tanked like crazy in his overall and his attributes for sure. To be expected for a guy 39 years old. But, I mean, still, look at these numbers. 256, average at 769 OPS. You're not going to ask much more from Joey Votto at this stage of his career. Those are good numbers for him in the first half of the season. So we'll see if there might be a little bit of a drop-off in the second half because his ratings are going so low. We'll just have to see about that. And then Andy Pages here in his rookie season. How is the rookie season going? A good contact versus righties boost there. It's going pretty good. It's going all right for him so far. 770 OPS, 246 average, 13 home runs. Pretty similar to kind of what he's done in real life in his actual career. And so, yeah, I mean, I'll take it. 70 hits for him in the first half of the season. This is one of the better rookie performances that we have seen this year. No errors so far out there on the field, so his defense has been very, very solid. So, yeah, this is a good first half of the season for Andy Pages. Hopefully he can keep that up. And he might be in that. We're definitely going to be trying to vie for Rookie of the Year this season at the majors. David Peralta has sucked this season. Cam Gallagher starting because of the injury to Will Smith that this team has suffered, and his numbers have definitely dropped off since he's joined the starting lineup. The bench here for this team not been very good, and there's a reminder of that Will Smith injury, still going to be out for the whole season, and just wasn't really hitting very well this year in general already, but yeah, I mean, below 300 average, 226 or 226 average, below 300 on base. But yeah, this team's offense, it's not amazing. There's some decent hitters on that lineup, but overall it's pretty sketchy, pretty up and down, and just not a lot of pitching at all. The pitching has been really struggling this year for this team. So going down to the minors here, they have a couple of guys, older. A lot of these are older prospects, though, down here for them. Jeter Downs, 24 years old, 68 overall. He's developing pretty well, +5 to his discipline, which is good. And, he's he's right on the cusp of being Major League ready. 287 average. 396 on base is really impressive. He has walked a ton this year, 46 walks. And so, that kind of makes up for kind of a low slugging percentage for him at only 392 to make a 766 OPS there. So he's doing pretty well down here, and he's very close to being called back up to the majors again, or being called up for the first time. Matt McLain just really struggled in the majors, called him down here, and he's been okay at AAA, below 700 OPS though. I mean, none of these numbers are going to blow you away, really. And he's not really had the type of growth that I was hoping he would have down here at AAA either. So that is a little unfortunate to see. And then Bryson Stott, we called him down to AAA as well. His growth so far this year has just been, it's been okay and fine. Nothing super special. His major league numbers were really bad, and he's also just I feel like Matt McLain and Bryson Stott are doing almost exactly the same thing at the minor league level right now. And, I mean, this is just league average at best kind of numbers for him. And just not, amazing, nothing that blows you away there. Jeremiah Jackson, though, +7 to Connor versus lefties kind of blows you away. He's having a really awesome season. He's got a wonderful OPS right now with 790. And a 358 on base percentage. So kind of watch out for him. I mean, he's 23 years old, and I don't know, his hitting ratings aren't probably there yet for me to call him up yet, but he is a guy that we could see on this team maybe next year or something like that, but he's doing really well down here at AAA. So now we go to Winnipeg, and this team definitely has struggled this season. And yeah, they got Robbie Ray, but man, he has not been pitching all that well this season. 1.48 ERA for him so far. Santa Contra has been awesome. We saw him have one of the best starts to a season I've really ever seen a pitcher have in this game. He was absolutely incredible, and he has a 2.53 ERA right now and a 1.21 WHIP. Some good increases for him across the board, and 20 starts for him this year. 14 quality starts, 4 complete games, and 4 shutouts, which is just incredible for him so far this year. So, and then like 3 of those came really early on in the season. So Santa Contra, giving up a little bit of hits there, but doesn't walk anybody really at all, and has overall been really good for this team this season. Dakota Hudson has also been really good this year, actually. Below 100 hits for him, 41 runs allowed is it. And he might be a guy that this team looks to trade at the deadline here. He had a pretty good season last year, too, and 3.03 ERA right now. He might be providing some value to some team here if this team can get a good return for him. But yeah, good season for Dakota Hudson. And then Jordan Belozovic, called him up, a rookie season for him right now, and it's going okay. 106 innings of 1.5 WHIP, which is definitely pretty high. He's given up a ton of hits there, 118 of them. And, I kind of get it. I mean, his hit per 9 rating is low, but man, he is not doing that great. I feel like he should be doing a lot better. 50 runs given up for him. And it's not like he's preventing walks really either. He's 42 of those. So this has kind of been a less than ideal start to Belozovic's career. And then Jesus Luzardo, I don't know what it is, but I just have not had him pitch very effectively for me in any of my franchises that I've really done. And this season, he has not been very good at all. 1.52 ER, 1.52 WHIP, has struggled there and giving up a lot of base runners. Ronnie Dubnak here, as a long reliever, has been actually really solid. Really good last year in this same kind of role, but he's taking on more innings this year, giving up more hits, though, as you can see, but has allowed, only 3 more runs and 11 more innings, basically, a 3.55 WHIP and a 1.2 ERA there, or 1.2 WHIP and a 3.5 ERA. Joe Rock has really been struggling and has not been improving that much at all either, which is definitely concerning. 115 hits, a lot of 95 innings is way, way too much. A 1.6 WHIP is way too much, and a 5 ERA. I think Joe Rock probably gonna be called down back to the minors again soon. He just has not been. I don't know. He just hasn't shown that he's really majorly ready yet. And then Joey Rodriguez, 7.5 ERA, doesn't pitch very much at all. Keenan Middleton has also not pitched that much, and he hasn't been that great. Robert Hopkins is a rookie that I think this team automatically called him up because I don't remember doing that, but he hasn't pitched very much. Brent Suter has been pretty terrible. Cody Stosek has a 4.91 ERA right now, 10 runs in 18 innings when he gave up 18 and 50 innings last year. So for some reason, he's really struggling. And then Michael King has been okay. He's not really even a closer, though. He's got 48 stamina, so, he's only the closer because every other person that I've tried to put in the closer role has just been absolutely dreadful for this team. This team's bullpen is awful, and it's definitely a reason that they're struggling so much right now this season. I mean, their pitching overall is just not very good right now, and their bullpen is probably one of the worst in baseball. Joe Salazar, is he potential guy? 2.74 ERA, actually, doing well down here at AAA. But Matt Brash is definitely a guy to watch out for. I think he will get a shot in the majors this season at some point. He's 24 years old already, so not a lot of, it's not like we should waste any more time with him, and he's at a 2.79 ERA this season in AAA. Those are good numbers for sure. So Matt Brash, watch out for him to have a major league debut here this season and have it fairly soon. But then going down to AA, here is a guy, 18 years old, big potential guy. I think he was this team's second pick. I can maybe put it up on the screen. I probably have done that already. But yeah, Steven Richardson was not really a top prospect that I highlighted going into this season. What he's doing right now at AAA is absolutely incredible. +6 to his pitching clutch. That's insane. Those increases so far for him this season have been so good. And it's actually, there's a reason for it because he is off to one of the best starts I've ever seen a pitcher have down here in Double-A. Look at these numbers: 114 innings for him in 18 starts, 9-1 record, 101 hits allowed, 19 runs allowed on 114 innings, 18 walks, which is ridiculous, 94 strikeouts, 12 quality starts, again in 18 starts, 2 shutouts, and a 3.9 WAR in the first half of the season. These are mind-boggling numbers. These are absolutely incredible numbers for Steven Richardson, and he's catapulted himself into one of the top prospects in baseball with the way that he's pitching this year. Absolutely incredible. He's going to be on the fast track to AAA this season. I don't think I'm going to have him pitch in the majors this year because he's still only 18, but my goodness, he is like almost ready to be in the majors right now, which is insane. What a season for him so far. What a good season for Fernando Cruz as well. A B potential, a high. Actually, I think he's got an A potential, but really good season for him so far. He's been really pitching well, near 3 ERA in the minors as well. Then Joe Vogelsang, we tried to highlight him before. He's got hit in the head the last time we pitched with him, but he's been pitching really well so far as well. 96 innings, 34 runs allowed, and 73 strikeouts, 29 walks, a 3.18 ERA, and he's up to a 62 overall, and he's only 19 years old. 9 quality starts for him. So this team has some really, really intriguing pitchers down here at AA right now, between Vogelsang and Richardson and Cruz. I mean, those are some definitely intriguing pitchers down here. I'm really interested to see what those guys will do in the second half of the season. So they got some pitchers down here at AA that we'll have to keep up with here in the second half of the season. And Steven Richardson, man, his season right now just blowing me away completely. What a year for him. So going to their offense, offense is up and down. It's okay. Here, Willie Castro, +4 to those contact ratings, which is good. And overall, as a leadoff hitter, he's been pretty decent. 323 on base percentage, maybe a little bit low for him, but better than last year, that's for sure. Getting on base, 90 hits in total overall. Not a lot of slugging in his game right now, but as long as he can get on base and do that fairly well, that's really what this team wants him to do. Christian Arroyo has not been increasing that much. I mean, +4 to his vision, +3 to his discipline. Those are good increases for him, I guess. But, below 300 on base, 679 OPS. Yeah, I feel like he can do a lot more. I like good amount of doubles, though, 22 of them. But, yeah, this has not been an amazing first half for him. Bryce Harper, no surprise here. He is one of the best hitters in baseball, and he's playing like it here to start this season. 20 home runs. So looking for back-to-back 40-plus home run seasons this year. Although he's going to have to pick up the pace in the second half post-All-Star break because there's going to be less games. This All-Star break is kind of late in this month here. But a 902 OPS, 52 RBIs. He's going to be in the All-Star game for sure. And maybe in the Home Run Derby. I'm not sure. But, yeah, he has been awesome this season. And a 1.8 WAR, which is actually kind of lower than what I expected it to be. But, yeah, he is still putting up awesome numbers, though. And then Nick Castellanos, I mean, he's staying the same in his attributes, but he's hitting the ball really well also. And that, on base, it's actually very, very similar. All those numbers, average-wise, on base-wise, slugging-wise, OPS-wise, almost exactly the same as a year ago. But remember, last year, his season was hampered by injury. He only played about a couple of months, really, last season. So he's got a longer time to play in the majors this year. He has a 288 average and an 813 OPS with 1.7 WAR. So he's been hitting the ball really well. He's an offensive star for this team. If this team had a better surrounding cast around him, I mean, Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos, it's the best, one of the best 2-3 punches in baseball, but he doesn't have a lot of support around him, but he's been awesome. Wilmer Flores' signing hasn't really worked out so far for Winnipeg. He has not been very good at all this year. That OPS, a full point lower than it was last season for him. And, Yeah, I mean, this is, been trending in a bad year in every way for Wilmer Flores. Willie Adames, 256 average for him, 13 home runs and 48 RBIs, and he's increasing a little bit here so far. Not huge increases, but last year this has been better for him than it was a year ago. I didn't even realize last year below 300 on base, so better than last season. Overall, a decent start to his season here, a decent first half of the year. 1.9 WAR is actually pretty good for him, but not really superstar caliber. And then Austin Slater has not had a lot of action this year. Keibert Ruiz has had a okay season, some okay but pretty minimal increases and upgrades here for him. But a 261 average, 299 on base, below 700 OPS. Like, it's better than last year, sure, in a lot of those categories, but I mean, it's just not an amazing season for him so far. So I want to see him catch fire and really improve those numbers, because he's got a great chance to be one of the best young catchers in this game. His offense just needs to be there. And then Roberto Perez, I didn't know what to expect when they signed him from Charlotte, and this is probably about what I expected him to do, honestly. So far this season, he's been pretty decent, 60 hits for him so far, and the 256, averaging a 719 OPS. So, yeah, I mean, it's not 800 OPS level. That was over a small sample size. I didn't really expect a ton from Perez, but you could probably make an argument that they're overpaying for him right now at the moment. Sergio Alcantara there. Okay, some good increases, I guess, but Miguel Sano started in the lineup, had a 251 on base percentage, so I had to take him out of the line because he was garbage. Austin Allen hasn't been great this bench. I mean, nobody's bench is like really that amazing in my opinion. Here, some benches are a little bit better than others, but only mildly. And then you go down to the minors, and we call it down Tommy Pham because he had 24 hits and 117 at bats, and was just not doing that great at all. So called him down, and he has been at AAA for 10 games here, and so far he's been pretty bad in AAA right now, so hopefully he'll start to pick it up. And then Austin Martin, guy I could definitely see making his debut this year at some point. He looks like some of his offensive numbers are going up pretty well, and he has an 800 OPS right now, 346 on base, 14 homers, and 42 RBIs. Those are good numbers for Austin Martin. So watch out for him to maybe make an appearance this year at the major league level when he's been hitting well. Victor Mesa Jr., I don't really know. I don't get Victor Mesa Jr. because he's got good potential. He's got decent hitting ratings, and his season so far hasn't actually been that bad, really. 766 OPS, but he's apparently not hitting lefties very well and not really improving in a lot of these stats. So, I don't know. I think his beat potential is 85 mid beat potential. But, man, I want to see him develop because this team could probably use him out there in the outfield. And then down here at AA, you got Zach Geloff, who +6 to power kind of versus righties, +5 to power versus lefties. Those are awesome increases, and he's up to a 70 overall now, and his season down here in AA has been pretty effective and pretty impressive, actually. 778 OPS for him so far and a 352 on base percentage. So I like Zach Geloff's first half of this season here, and he might get a shot at some AAA action this season with those kind of numbers. Those are good stats for him. And I don't know why I didn't show you Mason Wynn, because he is definitely a prospect, but I didn't show you his stats. I think he's been okay at AA so far. We're moving over to New York now. And the Honey Badgers here, this is, again, one of the better teams in baseball. And, I mean, their pitching is decent, but their offense is definitely their strong suit here. But Carlos Rodon, 38 hits a lot, 130 innings so far this season, 47 walks, 113 strikeouts. Carlos Rodon is amazing. He's incredible, one of the better pitchers in all of baseball. 15 quality starts this year. So he's awesome. There's nothing really more to say than that. He is just one of the better pitchers in baseball, and he's pitching like it again this season for really the third year in a row. And again, you look at his last 3 seasons, just really good for him. And so far, 2.62 ERA and a 1.18 WHIP. And then you got Chris Paddock, who I think he might be capped out with his potential actually, but because he hasn't developed at all this season. And his season has been okay. It's not been as good as last year was, really. But I mean, obviously we have more of the season to go. He has about 12 more starts this year. But yeah, his numbers aren't great. They're 3.7 ERA, which isn't bad, but okay. Zach Greinke has been awesome though this season. At 39 years old, and he's still putting up sub one whips and a 2.09 ERA. Only has allowed 30 runs and 129 innings. Like that's ridiculous. Those are incredible numbers for him, and he's on pace. I mean, would be one of his better seasons of his career. 15 quality starts already for him, which is actually a ton. 1.18 WAR, which is his highest WAR already this season since 2020, and that was a shortened season in 2020. Obviously, he only pitched 67 innings in that year, so he could be putting up a kind of a season equivalent to 2019 for him, one of his best seasons in a while this year. Honestly, with those kind of numbers, he's been awesome. And then Luis Gil, okay, he was kind of hurt, I think, at some points this year. 53 innings, 4.5 ERA, not great for him so far, honestly. And I think this is kind of where the pitching staff falls off a little bit for New York here. They don't have a great 3, 4, or 5 on this, 4 or 5 really on this rotation. Justin Steele has a 4.3 ERA, hasn't been incredible in this role, has given up as many hits as he's pitched innings this season. So who's going to be that kind of number 4, number 5 guy for you? That kind of is a question mark for this team. And the bullpen, I think it is a question mark. It's fair to say that. You know, Devin Smeltzer, not nearly as good as he was last year so far. The whip is right at the same spot, but he's, given up almost the same amount of runs, 9 less runs in, 40 less innings, basically. So he's definitely having kind of a down year comparatively. And then Eliezer Hernandez, some increases here for him, but really numbers are not good for him. 49 runs so far in 95 innings, and that a whip sitting 1.3. So, yeah, I mean, long reliever, those two guys aren't incredible here for this team. Maybe not the solution. And then Scott Alexander, 5.9 ERA, not good. Kirby Yates has been absolutely awful this season. He's been tanking it overall. I have no idea why he has been so bad this year. He wasn't very good last year either, but this year, man, I mean, 30 runs and 36 innings is ridiculous. A near 2 whip, like that's unplayable. I can't even have you in the rotation if you're putting up numbers like that. Anthony Bender, 24 innings. He's been really good. 6 runs given up in 24 innings. So those are awesome numbers. 2.25 ERA is really good. So he's been reliable. Milo Casey has not pitched very much at all, only 9.2 innings. Sean Doolittle has been pretty good here. I mean, he's been kind of like, he's been a closer for a little bit this season. He is now the setup man, and he's been pretty good, 3.86 ERA. Again, last year was awesome for him. This year he's given up more runs and less innings, but, still okay season for Sean Doolittle. And then right now, the closing pitcher is Austin Adams, and he's pitching well, and he's got really good attributes except for that walk run rating. But he's actually not walking a lot of guys this year. That has actually been something that he's been able to do pretty well this season, is avoid the walks. And so far, he only has 7 saves this year, but 13 runs. I mean, you look at that bullpen, and it's like, yeah, that bullpen is kind of a weakness on this team. It's just not super strong. So they might look to try and get some bullpen help in at the trade deadline. That would probably be a big need for them. And then they got Jaden Hill. They got him in the trade in which they sent, this is the Hoyle Follow deal that they had this season. They got Jaden Hill from that. And Jaden Hill so far this year is 76.1 innings and a 2.59 ERA, 1.13 whip. Has been pitching really well. And he's really their only younger prospect type of guy in the minors right now. Tyler Gilbert, maybe we should give him a major league shot with those AAA numbers this year, honestly. But Jaden Hill right now is, really the only starting pitching, especially starting pitching prospect. He's their only one. And the other guy that they have down here is Virgil Garcia, who has been awesome this season. +4 home run per nine, and man, only 18 years old. He is looking on the cusp of being major league ready. This season for him has been an incredible 33 innings down here at AA, and he's allowed 7 runs. That's it. Has only watched 8 guys, 30 strikeouts, a 1.87 ERA, and a sub-1 whip, 30 saves in 32 opportunities already for Virgil Garcia. Those are incredible numbers, and probably might see him at AAA at some point this year. But man, has he been pitching incredible for this team. So, and you look at the pitching staff, and it's like that bullpen is definitely a weakness, and the starting pitching is okay, but there's some kind of holes in the bottom of that bullpen. But where this team makes up for that, and where this team is really, really strong, is their offense. Christian Yelich has an 888 OPS right now and a 366 on base percentage. I mean, he's doing everything that you want a leadoff hitter to do, for sure. Walking quite a bit, getting on base, and he actually has a lot of power. I mean, a 522 slugging percentage. Not too shabby at all either, and he just plays good defense. 3.2 WAR. These last couple of years, man, he's just had a resurgence. And not, kind of putting up, he's getting there. Like the MVP-like numbers for him are kind of back in fashion. I don't know. He's not like putting up 1,000 OPS really, but he's still hitting the ball super well. And then Jose Ramirez, this trade has really worked out for the Honey Badgers so far. He has been one of their team's best offensive players, and a 9.14 OPS, a 539 slugging, 103 hits, already has 30 doubles this season. At the All-Star break is crazy for him. 16 home runs and 54 RBIs. So, basically 300 average, 375 on base is kind of ridiculous, and a 914 OPS. You can't ask more from Jose Ramirez, and he's great on defense, 4.3 WAR already, which is insane. And then Aaron Judge, I mean, he's been great. I mean, look at the top 5, really the top 6 in this batting order, just absolutely incredible. There's no other team that has as good of a top of their batting order as this team does. And Aaron Judge, +7 to power versus lefties. He already has 28 home runs and 79 RBIs this year, a 926 OPS, a 560 slugging. Every metric, Aaron Judge, you look at him, he is incredible. And I think, both in real life and in this game, you could probably make a argument that he is maybe the best hitter in baseball. And right now this season, just kind of proving that. And I really wonder where he's going to end up in terms of home runs this season. And he's going to be in that home run derby. I would think for sure this year. He has been so good. 4.1 WAR. Yeah, that's incredible. Aaron Judge is an absolute beast. And then Austin Riley, I mean, he's been hitting the ball super well too. He's been getting some good increases up to an 89 overall. He's only 25 years old, which is insane. But he also has 20 home runs here at the All-Star break, which is a ton. And a 261 average, 823 OPS. So, I mean, these numbers are fantastic for him. He's a perfect number 4 hitter as well. And we'll see what he can do with that home run number, if he can get it close to matching what he did a year ago with 38 long balls. 3 WAR for him this season so far already. Yeah, Austin Judge and Aaron Riley. Austin Riley, Aaron Judge in the same lineup is kind of insane. Jose Abreu, as this team's, one their pretty big offseason addition, has been good. 84 hits, a 259 average, a 750 OPS. And, 36 years old, kind of on the tail end of his career. This is about what you expect from a guy like Abreu at 36 years old. And, I mean, I'm not going to complain about those numbers at all. Not going to complain at all about William Contreras putting up these numbers either. And I think, in retrospect, the New York kind of fleeced New Orleans to get William Contreras because he is one of the best young catchers. He's playing like one of the best young catchers in all of baseball, and they probably should have given up more to get him. But 3 WAR for him this season, that's incredible. He's been awesome this year. And then Eric Haas has been kind of off and on as being a utility guy and a starter, but He has a 845 OPS and a 540 slugging, which is kind of impressive there. And then the bottom of the lineup, isn't great. Romo Lariano is good on defense. That's about it, though. His offense is pretty horrible. 280 OP on base is pretty awful. And then Jeff McNeil, his offense is also pretty awful. So sure, the bottom of this team's lineup is not very good, but man, again, top 6 batting order, probably one of the best in baseball right now. And then Miguel Cabrera, kind of a utility guy. 290 at bats is kind of a lot, actually, though, for him in the first half of the season. 67 hits, basically at 3,200 total hits right now, basically at 1,900 total RBIs, and 530 home runs, which is all really incredible milestones for him. And he's been okay, actually, off the bench. Also, Kim has been not too bad off the bench. Ronald Guzman, 50 at bats, has been really good off the bench. But yeah, this team's offense is where this team shines, and it's really an impressive batting order. You got Jalen Miller down here in the minors, and remember last year he played like the whole season. He's been in AAA basically all year, and not a lot of increases for him, to be honest. And he's been okay down here. 737 OPS, 79 hits so far, not anything crazy special. Tyler Black has peak potential. He's got really good defense. His offense needs some work for sure still, but the 772 OPS is pretty good actually for him so far this year. But they don't have like an 8 potential, super talented guy down here in their minor league level right now. They just don't have a lot of that and a lot of depth in terms of their farm system. But this team, they're going to be a playoff threat, and hopefully we'll see what the second half of the season brings for them. So now we're on to Boston here, and this is Mike Clevenger. They got him, of course, in the offseason, and so far this year for them, he's been really good. 39 runs in 126 innings so far, 104 hits allowed, 2.77 ERA, 1.18 WHIP. So those are good numbers for Clevenger, kind of doing what they want him to do. He's getting a lot of strikeouts, 3.1 WAR, which is already higher than his WAR overall last season all year. So, Mike Clevenger has been kind of that good, stable ace at the top of their rotation this year for them. And then Trevor Rogers, still super young, 25 years old. And, last year, 4.18 ERA. And this year so far, these are numbers that are a lot better. His WHIP is a lot lower at only 1.14. So 95 hits, 46 walks, 100 strikeouts exactly, 13 quality starts. He's been pitching pretty well. Zach Plesac has been awesome this season, and he was good last year. He's kind of one of the more underrated players in this league, I feel like. I mean, all he does is put up awesome numbers, 13 quality starts, 2 shutouts so far already this year, and a 2.34 ERA, only has allowed 35 runs. Only has walked 33 batters, so he just doesn't walk anybody. Not super flashy with the strikeouts, but, man, Zach Plesac this year honestly been one of the best pitchers in the league and will probably be appearing in that All-Star game. I would hope he is. 10-5 record, too, for him, so he's been fantastic. And then Alex Cobb, 35 years old, so a little bit of a decline for him. Got him from Winnipeg, and not putting up the same type of numbers. He has, given up 13 less runs there, 12 less runs. But he's been okay as the number 4. And it was Eduardo Venezuela. I have moved him into the starting role here on this team. He was kind of a bullpen long reliever. But so far this year, he's been fantastic. 102 innings for him, has only allowed 36 runs. Doesn't walk very many guys at all. Doesn't strike out a ton, but see potential guy in 3.16 ERA. He's pitching really well, and he's actually going to be there as one of the front runners for kind of the Rookie of the Year race. He's going to be in that race. And so you look at this pitching staff. You got Clevenger. This has been a good signing for them. Rogers and Plesac have been pitching really well. Venezuela came in as a rookie and has pitched awesome. So, a pitching staff that I was kind of concerned about, honestly, going into the year, how everything was going to work out for them. It's been going pretty well, and it's been working out well for them. John King, so far out of the bullpen here, a long reliever, 2.86 ERA. He's been pretty good in this long relief role, I would say. So nothing to really complain about there. Brooks Raley, the whip is pretty low at 1.17, but the ERA is definitely not in a great spot, over 5. Miguel Figueroa has been pretty decent so far, 17.2 innings, so kind of a more limited sample size than at this time last year. John Bender hasn't pitched a whole lot, only 11.1 innings, so not a lot to get from him. Tanner Scott has not pitched very much either, so I think this bullpen has kind of had its issues, and I've had to call some guys down and call other people back up to the majors. Drew Steinbrecher, though, has been good, really good all year. That whip is really low. Only 7 walks in 28.2 innings. Only has allowed 18 hits and 8 runs. So, yeah, he's not allowing a lot of base runners at all. And he's been very effective as this team setup man this season. And then David Bednar. Of course, David Bednar, one of the best closers in baseball. That's true this year. And I mean, I think he's capped out on his potential because he's decreasing. I'm going to have to go in there and fix that because he definitely should not be decreasing. I mean, these numbers are fantastic. 32 saves and 33 opportunities for him. Only has allowed 6 runs in 34 innings and 1.06 whip. So, yeah, David Bednar is still one of the best closers in baseball. Still will be, probably will be showing up in this All-Star game, but my goodness, he's had, of course, a fantastic season and has a .5 WAR already. So, when I look at this pitching staff in general, I think the bullpen has some shortcomings here and has maybe some weaknesses, but starting pitching overall has been very strong, better than I kind of expected. I thought this would be a weakness of this team. It really hasn't been. The bullpen may be a weakness, but starting pitching has been really good for them. Isaiah Campbell here in a Double-A has also been really good in 113 innings. There, then Jason Doyle, who is a guy that has pretty decent beat potential. He is a 67 overall, and he's been pitching pretty well down here in Triple-A, a 3.6 ERA and a 1.3 whip for him. But he's getting closer. I don't know if we'll see him at some point. I don't know if we'll see either one of these pitchers at some point this year up at the majors, but maybe they have a chance, especially Jason Doyle because he does have higher potential there. Rich Ullman is also a guy that's pretty close, maybe to Major League ready, but don't know what his, doesn't have a crazy high ceiling or anything like that. And then in Double-A, not really anybody down here at Double-A for this team. So their farm system, pitching-wise, their farm system overall isn't super deep, but not deep in the pitching side of things really at all. And then going to their lineups here and their offense, Bender Rosario as the leadoff hitter has been, he's been all right. That average sitting at, 240 here, 250 basically. The on base, though, is pretty low. He's not walking a lot so far this year. He's going to be on pace. He's going to have a lot of doubles still. But, yeah, 673 OPS is not actually that ideal. And, yeah, Bender Rosario, he is great at defense, but, man, I would like him to get on base a little bit more effectively going forward to this season. And then Alejandro Kirk here, really great increases for him already. I think he started the season off a little bit slow, kind of struggled out of the gate offensively, but he's since turned it around. He's had a very effective, the last few months for him have been great at the plate, and he's up to almost 100 hits already so far this season, and 11 home runs, which, bearing a second half really bad slump, he's going to get a career high in that department. His slugging is down from last year, so is his OPS, but 1.5 WAR as a catcher, you're not going to complain about a catcher that has a 294 batting average. He has been really great on the average-wise getting on base. That's his specialty. And then Luis Arias here. He's been hitting pretty well. Maybe not as good as last year, but still almost 100 hits for him. 14 home runs. Could on pace for maybe a career high. We'll have to see. 9 away from that. And 34 RBIs, which seems kind of low for me, but overall still pretty decent season. Kyle Tucker has been awesome, of course. He's one of the best hitters in baseball and is really cementing his superstar status. And, last year was really good for him, but this year is going to be probably even better. Better right now on every metric, and he's on pace to get a career high in home runs. He's got 21 right now, 65 RBIs in total, a 390 or 353 on base, and a 895 OPS. I mean, he's, MVP caliber type of numbers here, maybe, but certainly all-star numbers, and certainly continuing to just be so effective at the plate. 37 walks to 44 strikeouts. That is pretty insane right there, to strikeout to walk ratio. And he has an 1,000 fielding percentage. I mean, he's great on defense as well, and has a 4 WAR overall. And then Trevor Story, he was hurt last year after the first couple of months of the season. This year, he has not gotten that. He's not ran into that issue in a full season for him, and this is incredible numbers, best numbers that he's put up in a very long time, since 2019 type of numbers here. 93 hits for him, 27 doubles already, 20 home runs already, a 357 on base, and a 946 OPS. That's one of the best in the national, or in the American League, and in all baseball, period, and a 3.6 WAR. So yeah, Trevor Story on pace for his highest WAR since 2019, and just putting up monster numbers. So you got guys like Kirk and Tucker and else. I mean, the guys get on base on this lineup, and Josh Van Meter, really good increases, +5 to kind of versus lefties already, and 57 games from him, so pretty decent sample so far for him, and he's putting up great numbers, a 296 batting average and a 381 on base percentage, 889 OPS. So he's a guy that was kind of a utility backup guy last season for this team. Didn't get a lot of playing time, but my goodness, he's been awesome in the lineup this year. Miguel Hernandez, this signing has not really worked out so far, actually. He has not been hitting the ball that well, and hopefully he needs a good second half, because some of these numbers are just not very good for him right now. Below 635 OPS is not great. He is providing value defensively, but that's really about it. And Kevin Biggio's numbers are way down from last year so far as well. And the on base isn't terrible. He doesn't really strike out a whole lot. So 328 on base isn't awful, and the OPS is in an okay spot, but definitely last year was kind of a breakout season potentially for him. This year he's kind of returning back more to league average, and the average has definitely taken a hit. And then Darren Ruff has been okay here. 342 on base is actually not too bad. He's walking at a pretty good rate right now, 720 OPS. But he is 36 years old. He is declining, and that is happening much more quickly now for him. But overall, this offense is very solid, and it's one of probably the better offenses that is around in the league, and you have definitely some standout players here on this offense, and we'll see. This is going to be such an interesting race going down the stretch at the end of the season with them in New York. Tyler Whitaker is a big potential guy, 72 overall, 20 years old, and honestly, his stats look pretty good, and his attributes do, at least. But I didn't have to call him down. He actually had some Major League time this year. Wasn't performing well. Then Dustin Harris, +8 to power versus lefties. That is a awesome increase for him, and he's very, very close to being in the majors. I would expect him to show up in the at the Major League level at some point this year, and he's been hitting the ball very well down here at AAA this year for sure. 23 doubles, 13 home runs, really good slugging percentage there, and that is his. And that's part of the reason why his power is going up so much. 826 OPS overall. So, yeah, Dustin Harris has been great this year, 2.4 WAR. Watch out for him to make an impact in the second half of the season at some point. And then down here in Double-A, there's one prospect, and that's Cosmo Vasquez. He's the big guy to watch out for here. +3s and +2s across the board. I mean, he's still very underdeveloped. And so far, his numbers on offense down here, Double-A, haven't been all that great. 667 OPS. So, he's only 18 years old. He has a long time to grow and develop, a long time to get a whole lot better in this franchise here. But, yeah, some interesting progress there. Miguel Geraldo is getting closer to Major League level already. I'd say he's still a couple of years off, at least, but he's having an okay season, average season, really down here, Double-A. So there is a couple of guys to watch out for, at least one guy to watch out for this season here down in the minors for this team. And then we go to Toronto, and this is a huge year for them with Shohei Ohtani. Last year of his contract, scheduled to be a free agent, a huge year for this team to do well and to keep him under contract. And his pitching numbers this year, maybe not as good as last year, so far at least not as good of a start, but 50 runs, 127 innings. I mean, this is still really good stuff from him. The whip is really low. He's has 117 strikeouts so far, so he's pitching very well. And if that's all that he did, you would say, okay, he's a good pitcher, one of the better ones in the league. 13 quality starts so far, 2.3 WAR on the mound. But of course, that's not everything that he does. He also cranks with the bat as well. So you see, what does his offensive numbers look like? Well, 25 home runs, which is already only 2 off from his season last year that he had over 444 at bats. That's crazy. He's nearing that already. And the average, yes, the average is down, but the on base is about the same. The slugging is way up, and the OPS is also way up. 922 OPS, 25 home runs, 70 RBIs. Should be getting in that All-Star game, at least as a hitter, you would think. But 2.3 WAR, so, I mean, a 4.6 WAR player all combined. So, yeah, if he was doing one of those two things, right, if he had this incredible offensive start, we would say one of the best players in baseball. If he had the pitching start that he's off to, well, we would say, yeah, one of the better pitchers in baseball. But you got both the best worlds there with Shohei Ohtani. Nobody like him, and his offensive numbers really have been pretty incredible this year. And then Luis Castillo here. His season has been pretty good. These are good numbers for him. 3.18 ERA, 1.23 WHIP, and 42 runs given up. Good numbers there. Patrick Sandoval has been okay. Brady Singer has a over 4 ERA. Some development for him, and yes, I mean, better than last year, but still kind of would want to see his numbers improve a little bit. Andrew Heaney called up, has started 11 games so far. They actually signed him because of the Hyun Ryu injury that they had really early on in the season. So, you look at the starting pitching, and the starting pitching is honestly just okay outside of Shohei Ohtani and Luis Castillo. The rest of the pitching isn't amazing. It's not very deep right now. And, this team is above 500, but that pitching might be a concern in the second half of the season for sure. Casey Sadler, 8 runs allowed from him so far this year. Really good stuff there. Kistovinsky, 5.4 ERA and a 1.36 WHIP. Not good. Pitcher Strop came over in the trade that they had with the Rhinos. They sent Jose Miranda over to them in that deal. I can't remember who else they got in return for him. But Pedro Strop has not panned out so far. He's not been pitching well. Lucas Sims has been really good as this team's setup man there. And then Matt Barnes, 26 saves and 31 opportunities there, 5 blown already. The whip is definitely high for him because he's given up 29 hits so far over his 27.2 innings. So the whip is a little bit concerning. The ERA is in a decent spot. But, overall, the bullpen on this team, pretty up and down, honestly. Not super consistent, I would say. And so that might be an issue kind of going into the second half of the season. And not a lot of prospects here really at all, especially not in the AAA level. AA level, I don't think it really gets much better. You have Steven Goodman, but man, the K-Put on is so low with him right now. He's pitching okay down here, but not really anything super crazy special. And yeah, there's just no pitching prospects that this team has right now at the moment. So yeah, we'll see. Can their pitching, is their pitching sustainable? We'll see what happens in the second half of the season. Miles Straw has been really good. He's been solid here. Probably going to be making another All-Star game appearance, +7 to his power rating there. That's really good. And I mean, he's getting on base. He's doing what you need a leadoff hitter to do. 24 doubles, a 301 average, a 367 on base, which is fantastic. And basically a 900 OPS for him. 40 walks already this year and 14 stolen bases as well. So he's kind of he can do a lot of things really well for you. Pretty good defender as well. But he's doing what you need him to do, which is get on base for sure. And he is, improving in his attributes a ton. So a 4.1 WAR already for him this season. That's really good, obviously. And Nico Horner, amazing defense. I just think his offense needs to come around. And right now, I mean, his numbers aren't, I guess, awful offensively for him. 92 hits so far. Only 5 home runs, so the slugging is just not in a great spot for him at all this year. So I don't know. The offense for him is okay, kind of up and down. Jesse Winker has been pretty good here offensively. 360 on base for him is 754 OPS. Those are good numbers for Jesse Winker. The power is definitely down for him, though, right now. 393 slugging compared to 520 last year. That is pretty significant. And, yeah, just not getting a lot of power in his swings right now on 1.9 WAR. And then Pete Alonso, +5 to con versus lefties and to power versus righties. And, last year his average was not good. This year his average is still around the same, honestly. The on-base is slightly higher, but he has 20 home runs already at the All-Star break, 78 hits overall. So I do wish he would get on base a little bit more. That would make him a more complete, well-rounded player. His defense is just fine. Heimer Candelario was actually one of the team's surprising breakout players of last year. And this year, so far, it's been not nearly as good. 709 OPS. I mean, just very much league average type of numbers for him so far this season. And then Ole Garcia hasn't got a lot of game time, 206 at-bats so far this year, and he's been okay in that action. Eddie Rosario, they got him as well in that deal with Richmond. And overall, he's been good. 756 OPS, very comparable to last year's numbers. In a lot of ways, 12 home runs for him so far. So that part of that trade has panned out a decent amount. And Christian Vasquez, not a good offensive catcher, 238 average only. That's not great. So, you look at this offense and it's like, okay, you got Shohei and Miles Straw hitting the ball pretty well. Pete Alonso supplies you the power. But, again, it's not a super deep batting order, I don't think. And so we'll have to see. Second half of the season is going to be push time for them to get to the playoffs. Max Muncy is really good here. And, I mean, his attributes, 76 overall, 43 walks for him so far. His numbers at AAA have been kind of league average, but +6 to power versus righties already. He's developing pretty quickly, and probably quickly enough that you might see him have a look in the majors at some point this year. Joe Perez is he's getting close, man. He's improving in his attributes. He's at up to a 70 overall already now, and I don't know what his peak potential is. It's probably around mid, 84, 85 overall, but an 814 OPS, a 295 average. Like, he's getting on base pretty well so far here at AAA, and those good numbers in the attribute climb is good enough to maybe have him get a look this season. And then Francisco Alvarez, who we might not see this year, I don't know if we will. He's developing decently there, +3s, +2s across the board, but he's not hitting very well in AAA right now. He doesn't have a lot of at-bats in AAA, granted, but yeah, I want to see him hit better in the minors, and we'll see what his second half is like. Diego Cartaya, really underdeveloped offensively. You can see that from his attributes, and 645 OPS isn't amazing there. Henry Ramirez, I don't think these are like natural attributes. I think I improved his attributes a little bit before the season started, or at least during the season. But he's a 65 overall. He's only 23 years old, though, so you want him to be in the majors in a couple of years. But 1.15 OPS, he's been awesome so far in AA in 45 games down there. So love to see that. See what his second half looks like. And then Jordan Gorshanks, I mean, he is a top 50 prospect, sure, but he's also 2023, not really developing that much. And then Dominic Santana, I don't know what his potential is. So there actually is some guys down here in the minor leagues that can maybe make an impact here. We'll see how their second half of those guys and their seasons go. But I don't know, not a deep roster. Can they make that playoff push? That's going to be the biggest question that they're going to face in the second half of the season. Now we're moving over to Vancouver. And you see Ian Anderson there at the top of the rotation has been pretty fine. Perfectly fine this year. Tuki Dusano, 3.75 ERA and 1.3 whip. Good increases for him. He's up to a 79 overall. Those are pretty decent numbers. Not really going to complain about those numbers there. Does give up a lot of hits, though. I mean, 111 of them. Overall, not bad. Anthony DeSclafani, 3.42 ERA. Fine, he's fine as a number 3 for you. He also gives up a lot of hits, though, too. Luke Weaver has been fine as the number 4. He's been okay, 48 runs and 105 innings so far. And then Taijuan Walker, I mean, this season, really coming out of nowhere at a 4.52 ERA last season, just did not pitch very well. And then this season, 16 games started, 124 innings, and he's on 33 runs this year. 2.39 ERA, 1.8 WAR. Yeah, I mean, out of nowhere, Taijuan Walker, the best pitcher in this rotation this year, and moved into that rotation. And I mean, you know, the pitching on this team is just like they don't have a big superstar pitcher to really supplant them in this rotation. They got some guys that can pitch pretty decently, but don't have a true ace, I don't really think. But Taijuan Walker is pitching like an ace so far this season. We'll definitely have to move him up in this rotation. And actually, we're going to make him the number 2, at least, in this rotation going forward. But a 2.39 ERA for him is pretty awesome. Bullpen, yeah, Jose Reyna, not very good. Tyler Alexander, 3.55 ERA for him in 66 innings. I mean, fine numbers there. 21 walks, 221.7 strikeouts. Seth Lugo, this has been a good signing for this team in the offseason. He's been really good here in this role. 13 runs across 39 innings. They're using him quite frequently, it seems, this year. Sam Conroy stopped using him. He has a 2.43 whip. That's insane. That's some of the worst numbers I've ever seen. Richard Blair, 23 innings, 6 earned runs allowed. It doesn't strike anybody out, but doesn't allow a lot of base runners at all, and that's part of why he's so effective. And then Luke Jackson has been good here as this team's setup man. An interesting potential increase, but overall decrease. So 9 runs, and granted, he did give up 9 runs exactly in 20 more innings than last year, but still, those are good numbers. Pitching well as a setup man. Yeah, Nick Anderson maybe been kind of shaky here as this team's closer. Honestly, 21 saves so far, which is really not that much, but has a lot of hits. The whip is fairly high, 11 runs. So, he's been kind of shaky so far this year as a closer. Not bad, though. And probably not bad enough to move him out of this role. I actually moved Seth Lugo to the setup man role because I think he fits that role better. But, yeah, again, this pitching on this team is just pretty average here, and this is what this team is, really. Record-wise, they're pretty average as well. Justin McCoy, I don't know. We probably won't see him in the majors this year. And there's not a lot of guys down here to really be crazy in, about. I mean, not a lot of depth here. Hunter Harvey maybe is a guy that you could see called up. I mean, has pretty good numbers down here. Michael McGreevy, he is a decent prospect that this team has. 22 years old and B potential. And 45 innings for him, a 2.98 ERA, 1.13 whip. Honestly, those are definitely good numbers. He is a setup man, even though he's got a lot of stamina. So maybe we want to make somebody else a setup man here in this team's farm system. But yeah, that's what it looks like down here, AAA pitching-wise. And then going to this team's offense, which, we'll see. I mean, I think it's stronger than their pitching is. Here, Kyle Isbell as the leadoff hitter, 100 hits. The average is not bad. I mean, the OPS is definitely not there, though. I mean, he really struggles with the strikeouts. He does strike out a lot. J.P. Crawford, 20 years old, and we're seeing some increases in his contact ratings. He does not have any power this year for some reason. 23 doubles, but only 3 home runs this year. He does have a good average and a good on base, which is saving his numbers by quite a bit here. But yeah, the power way, way down for him. Ketel Marte, again, putting together another fantastic season. But even better than last year, especially with the average and on base. Should be making an all-star appearance. 16 home runs, 59 RBIs. Yeah, those are fantastic numbers. A 292 average and a 2.1 WAR. Actually had a negative WAR last year, which is pretty surprising. But yeah, 843 OPS. Ketel Marte having an awesome first half. And then Nolan Arenado. I mean, those two guys in the same lineup are pretty awesome here. And Nolan Arenado is having a good season. 24 home runs for him, 63 RBIs, and 68 OPS, which is higher actually than last year. So in some ways, he's doing a little bit better, it seems. And, the slugging department for sure. And we'll see if he can get more than 32 home runs. It probably seems like it will happen. Defense is pretty good, obviously, so 2.4 overall WAR. Yeah, Nolan's been playing really well. I wonder, he probably, I'm assuming he's going to make the All-Star game. We'll have to see. And then Austin Meadows, a potential here. He's been awesome this year, and he is really going up in his attributes. 291 average for him right now, +5 to his Connor versus lefties. 291 average, a 353 on base, and an over 900 OPS. 22 home runs. That's only 6 away from what he had all of last season. Only 5 away from the double number that he put up last year. He's striking out. I think he's striking out a little bit less this season, but his slugging has gone up. I mean, every metric gone up for him. 2.8 WAR already more and higher than last year. So, yeah, Austin Meadows having kind of a breakout season right now at the moment, and also will maybe make an all-star appearance. Anthony Rizzo has been good. I mean, the average, or the on-base is really good for him. He's walked 43 times, and it was only struck out 37 times, and that's a kind of a crazy number there. So he's walked more than he struck out this season, and 13 home runs. Power maybe not there overall, but really, really good numbers for Rizzo. And Benny Montgomery, honestly, these numbers are not bad. He's putting up good numbers for his rookie season. He's certainly trying to vie for that Rookie of the Year, trophy there. 738 OPS and 1.9 WAR, +5 to Connor versus lefties there. So he's upgrading, or he's improving by quite a bit. Like to see it. Gabriel Moreno, his numbers aren't great. It's a 656 OPS, only a 230 average, not getting on base a ton. Charlie Blackmon, he is kind of more of a platoon role. It's only 74 games. He's really struggling this year, and he does have, ending of his years of his contract. He did play out the 2024 season, so that's probably what will have him do in this game as well. But yeah, not hitting the ball very well this season. And then not a ton of guys down here in the farm system really to talk about. At least not a lot of top 50 prospects down here. Not a deep farm system at all. I mean, you got Luna Taveras, who maybe can make an impact in the majors. I don't remember if he started the year in the majors or not. I kind of feel like he would. He has not played at all in the majors this year, actually. So, yeah, well, he's good. He's been really hitting the ball well down here in AAA. He might get another shot at the majors at some point this year. And going over to Toronto here in the Raptors. And, here's 20 starts for Logan Webb. And hopefully his season doesn't get cut short like it did last time. And they could use him in the second half as they try and go for a playoff run and get back into the playoffs again. And he's been putting up good numbers at an ERA near 3. Marcus Stroman, a 3.05 ERA and a 1.25 whip. So, yeah, doesn't walk a lot of guys. And overall has been, not giving up a lot of runs. Only has given up 43 of them this year. And, the K rate for Logan Webb is increased. 14 quality starts for Marcus Stroman this year so far. So, does give up quite a bit of hits there. It looks like a little bit more than Logan Webb does. But overall, good numbers, solid season for him so far. Cal Quantrill has been okay this season in 118 innings. A little bit of hits there, 102 of them, 51 runs. He gave up 20 more runs and, another in a full season last year. So might not be putting up similar numbers to that, but he is striking out a lot more guys, I think. Here he has 90 of them so far this year already. Griffin Canning has just been terrible, dreadful this season for sure. I mean, 115 hits allowed on 102 innings for him, a 5.28 ERA, 60 runs given up. Caleb Killian has been pretty good here in his second full season on the mound. And I'll take these numbers. Definitely an improvement from what he did last year so far, at least. And still does give up quite a bit of hits, but overall, as your number 4 or 5 pitcher, Caleb Killian is doing your job. And then the bullpen, Joe Murray, 1.45 a whip here, but only allowed 32 runs in 77 innings. Brent Honeywell Jr. also has a pretty high whip right here, 103 hits allowed in 91 innings, but a 3.73 ERA. Alex Colomé, they should give him more innings. He's only allowed 5 runs in 20 innings so far. John Curtis, whip below 1, has only walked 9 batters all season. That's big. That's a big part of it. He's been pitching really well. Tim Meza started out as his team's closer, but was pitching so poorly that I had to take him out of that role, and he has not been pitching well. Neither has Aroldis Chapman. Hector Neris has a really high whip right now, 26 hits and 11 walks allowed. The ERA isn't awful, but yeah, the whip is definitely pretty high, and so it's very high for AJ Minter as well. 12 walks, but 25 hits allowed, 7 runs. You know, the ERA is pretty low because I guess not a lot of those runners are scoring. But yeah, the closing pitching role has been an issue all year for this team. And the bullpen overall, a lot of high whips here. So I think they're going to have to do better in the second half to get to the playoffs. They do have one pitching prospect down here in the minors, and that is Maxwell Ojeda. +2s, +3s for him. And the whip, a little bit high, giving up quite a lot of hits right now, but 25 saves, only has allowed 10 runs, and has a 3 ERA. So good numbers for Ojeda. He's only 20 years old, and he's a couple of years away still, but doing decently down here in Double-A. And then going to the offense, you got Lane Thomas, who, as a leadoff hitter, maybe not his best role for him. You know, 242 average, 324 OPS, very similar numbers to what he did last year. And so maybe you don't want to use him as a leadoff hitter. Byron De La Cruz has been good this year, so I don't know why they have taken him out of the lineup, but we're going to put him back in the lineup there. 282 average for him this season. And, you know, he's not going to improve very much more because he does definitely have C potential, but 326 on base for him. Doesn't have a lot of power or anything, but has been pretty good overall in 284 at-bats this year. And then Xander Bogaerts, not a lot of movement in his attributes, but, I mean, he's sitting really well. 301 average for him, 873 OPS. This is really consistent from what we've seen from him year to year. So, yeah, he's a great hitter, and he's doing well to start this season off. 3.2 WAR for him so far, which is pretty close to what he did last year. So we'll see if he gets to have a higher WAR. He might have more home runs than he did last year. He had 22 of them last season. And then Juan Soto actually going down in the contact ratings and down in power versus lefty. So kind of a decrease in his attributes. And that's, I mean, you can see why. He's only batting .239 this year with a .331 on base. So the average and the on base numbers are not that great. His slugging is still really good. Obviously not as good as last year's slugging was for him. But 20 home runs so far. So still on base to, you know, put up 40 home runs and 100 RBIs this season. And these numbers aren't bad by any means for him, but only a 2.1 WAR. So obviously this season is not going to be nearly as good as last year. And we'll see. Hopefully he picks it up. I think for this team to make the playoffs, he's going to have to improve those average on-base numbers for sure going in the second half of this season. And then Jared Walsh. Jared Walsh, kind of a beast, honestly. A 349 on-base percentage is pretty awesome. And a 275 average. He gets on base really well in this game. He's got amazing contact ability against righties. And I don't know how badly he hits lefties, but I don't think it can't be too bad if he's putting up these kind of numbers, honestly. 1.7 WAR. Jared Walsh, really good, and he's on fire right now. For sure. So I think with the 2, 3, 4 hitters there's opportunities for those guys to do better and to continue their production in the second half of the season. And Travis DeGranat is kind of having a down year right now so far. Nick Solak, though, is not. +5 to power versus righties. Those are awesome improvements in his attributes because he's putting up 300 average, 358 on base, and 917 OPS. Career high in home runs already for him this season. Going to get a career high in doubles and probably RBIs. 71 is the number for him to hit, but 2.4 WAR, that's already a career high. Nick Solak kind of establishing himself right now as one of the better offensive players out there. He's been awesome. Gio Urshela +6 in his power versus lefties, I think that was. The lefties or righties, but he's actually been hitting the ball really well, and he might get to, I don't know if it's going to be career high, but he's at 18 home runs already. More doubles than he had a year ago. almost the same amount of hits as he had a year ago. You know, on base, yeah, it's not great, but his power has been pretty good. And then Yandy Diaz, this is, he's big part of the reason why this offense has been okay this season and why this team is still contending. 826 OPS, 293 average, and 352 on base. He is getting on base like crazy. He doesn't strike out at all. Has only struck out 30 times all season and has walked 28 times. 2.9 WAR. Yandy Diaz, I mean, obviously, like in real life, we know he has awesome contact abilities, but in this game, this is really his first year as a starter, and he has just blown everybody away with his offensive abilities. He has been hitting the ball so well this season. And then Lane Thomas, I'm going to have to probably put Ronald Torres out of the lineup because he's been hitting so badly. But we'll see. There's definitely guys that could improve upon their numbers here going into the second half of the season, and it'll be interesting to see what this team can do in the second half. The year of the Burhan, plus 6-2 contact versus lefties. Some good increases there. He's already 25, so I kind of feel like you need to see him in the majors, at least in some capacity this season. But we'll see. But yeah, kind of good improvements. 747 OPS down here in AAA. Those are actually pretty decent numbers, I'd say, overall. But, there's some guys down here in AA for them. Pitcher Batista has really struggled so far this year, and his attributes are going down by quite a bit. Robert Ross, plus 10 to contact versus lefties already is kind of insane, and he's improving a lot. I guess he's struggling against lefties, which is unfortunate, but 266 average, 739 OPS, 5 home runs, so he's hitting the ball really well. But Nick Stedman, this is a guy to watch out for. This is going to be their catcher next year, and he has been great down here at AA, and he's improving a lot. Plus 5 to his power versus righties. He looks like he's going to be a beast. I'm super pumped to see what Nick Stedman will do in this custom franchise. And a 743 OPS, a 360 on base, which is fantastic. 39 walks to 43 strikeouts is awesome. Doesn't have a lot of power, but gets on base and has a decent catcher rating. So I think we're going to give Nick Stedman a chance at the AAA level at the very least this season, maybe even some Major League appearances this year. Is in order for him. Now we go to the Chinooks, and this team not great this season so far. And Tyler Mahle is okay, but he's like not really an ace type of pitcher. John Gray has really struggled this year. Danny Duffy has a 1.44 whip. Tyreek Schoolball has really sucked this year, and so has Grayson Rodriguez, unfortunately. And I just don't think this is sustainable. I don't think I can keep him in the majors the rest of the year. 96 innings. He's given up 95 hits, but he's also walked more batters than he struck out hitters this year, which is insane. 79 walk per nine, or 79 walks is so bad. And this is what I'm saying with him is like, just his walk per nine rating is so low that I just don't think there's really, I was like really hard pressed to see whether he was going to do good at all up here in the majors. It's so hard to do well in this game when you don't have that rating up at all. And so I think we're going to have to send him back down to AAA. Ryan Murphy has been actually good as a long reliever and as a rookie. Charlie Warren has not been very good. TJ Antone has been solid here. 15 runs allowed in 49 innings for him so far this year. 2.72 ERA and a 1.21 whip. So, yeah, those are good numbers and good season for him so far overall. Justin Topa, 3 ERA for him. Lou Trevino has been insane. One of the best relief pitchers in the business this year so far. 15 hits allowed, 2 earned runs allowed all season so far. 20 strikeouts. His whip, his ERA at 0.82, and the whip is below 1. So he's been unreal, and I got to put him in the setup role because Dylan Tate, unfortunately, Dylan Tate was awesome last year, but this year he has really struggled. 12 runs in 22 innings. Giovanni Gallegos going to make an All-Star game appearance. I would assume this season is insane for him. These numbers are fantastic. 24 saves, only 2 blown saves, 42 strikeouts in 32 innings, 6 runs given up is it. Only has allowed 5 walks. The 0.74 whip is crazy. That is the lowest that I've seen in a very long time. I mean, that whip is so ridiculously low. And honestly, he's on a bad team, but dude, that's a reliever of the year type of numbers that he's putting up right now. And down here in the minors, you got Maria Perez, who is getting really close to the major league level right now. 19 is his age, and he's getting there, man. He's almost there. I do want to see his walk, rate get a little bit better here, but he's been good in AAA. 3.88 ERA, 1.26 WHIP. Those are fine numbers for him that he's putting up so far. And not a lot of other guys to really watch out for down here in the minors, pitching wise. Adam Ottavino, I think I had him maybe in the majors and called him down. But there's some pitchers down here, maybe in Double A. Actually, this farm system might be a little bit deeper than I thought. I mean, Lionel Ortiz has been pitching really well. He's got decent beat potential. Well, then John Mayberry, we haven't actually seen, I haven't highlighted him yet this season. Not a lot of increases. I'm going to have to go in there and increase him a little bit more because he's got a 3.45 ERA. Those numbers are fine. Now, obviously, the attributes here, his home run per nine is really crazy low, unfortunately. But yeah, John Mayberry deserves to get some more increases, and he is a guy to maybe look forward to in the future. And then Emmanuel Cummings, obviously, a big drop pick for them, +3, +4 to home run per nine, which is really good. And he's only 18. Don't need to rush him into the majors or anything, but 24 saves, 3.45 ERA, 1.15 WHIP. Those are good numbers for your closer. So going to this team's lineup here, you got Val Contreras, who's got some good increases here, man. +3s, some +2s, and +4. And as a leadoff hitter, doing his job exactly how you want him to. 103 hits, 20 doubles. I mean, the slugging isn't amazing, but 354 average and a 348 on base. He gets on base really well. Ty France, really good increases. He's putting up some awesome numbers. He's pretty league average last season, but so far this year been one of the better first basemen in the American League. 15 home runs, 55 RBIs, a 297 batting average. Really good stuff from him there. And then Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette's this team's best player. He's their superstar, and he's playing like it again this season. 348 average or on base percentage, actually even putting up better numbers than he did a year ago. 105 hits for him and 3 WAR. So really good season so far from Bo Bichette. And then Kyle Lewis, some minor increases for him here. This season's fine. 789 OPS, pretty good for Kyle Lewis there. And then Matt Chapman, who is definitely on the trade block for this team here going into the deadline in a couple of weeks. A 220 batting average is 764 OPS. So he's got 18 home runs though, 72 hits total, 47 RBIs. He walks a pretty decent amount. I mean, 2.5 WAR. His defense is obviously incredible. And yeah, the last year of his contract there. So I definitely think it's very possible, and it's likely that this team will look around. They're at least going to look around and see what they can maybe get for Matt Chapman in the trade deadline. And he would provide some value, especially with his power, to another team. They got Tyler Naquin, who 270 batting average, 343 on base. He's also another guy that I would definitely consider trading from this team as well at the trade deadline with some pretty solid numbers that he's putting up so far. And, the WAR isn't amazing, but 2 more years, so definitely a guy who could be a trade piece. And then Aristides Aquino, 98 batting average. He just does not get on base. Pretty bad there. Anderson Tejada, doing pretty good against lefties, it appears, but his vision is not going up at all, which is definitely his most important stat that we need to get better. So he has 101 strikeouts and 293 at-bats, which is pretty ridiculous, and only has 19 walks. So yeah, limiting his impact a little bit for sure. Definitely not doing all that amazing. And Carson Kelly, pretty good. I mean, he's actually a very strong offensive catcher overall. 700 OPS, a 258 batting average there. And then this bench, nothing to really look out there. There is some guys down here, including Xavier Edwards. I don't know if we'll see him in the majors this year. Not really improving in his attributes all that much, to be honest, below .700 on base percentage there for him. Nick Pratto also has only 18 vision, so probably won't see him. Luis Rengifo, good increases, +5 and +8 in his contact ratings. And, he's 73 overall and 854 OPS, basically 300 batting average. He's doing really, really well in AAA. I would definitely think Luis Rengifo might deserve a call-up and deserve a major league look. He just has not pitched. He's not played at all this season, but he's actually got some good ratings. And then down here at Double A, you got Michael Toglia, who has got some good hitting stats. I think Michael Toglia is very close to a major league appearance. He's already 24, so definitely want to get him up pretty soon, and he's doing pretty well down here in a Double A. I think we'll probably get to see him have a look at Triple A before this season is over at the very least. Okay, now we're going over to the Dragons, and what has been the key to this team's success this year. This team has been awesome this season, and Shane Bieber is definitely leading the way in the pitching department. He is an awesome pitcher, an ace, all things considered, through and through. 144 strikeouts, 47 runs allowed, with a 3.15 ERA. Hopefully he makes the All-Star game. And 14 quality starts, 1 shutout. Yeah, Shane Bieber is an absolute beast in this game. And then Mike Soroka, some minor increases here for him. 3.88 ERA, 53 runs. The whip is in a really good spot for him, though. And then Madison Bumgarner, this trade, they got him from Richmond, and so far this has worked out beautifully. Madison Bumgarner is putting up career type of stats right now. One of his best seasons that we've seen him put up since 2018. Basically the same amount of innings from that season. This is his best season in a long time. 2.7 ERA, 38 innings so far. He's only allowed 9 home runs in total, 92 strikeouts, a 1.14 whip. So, yeah, this is his best season since 2018, and, that was only a half season in that year, so we'll imagine what he will do. Hopefully he has a good second half. 3 WAR is awesome for him, so he's putting up all our numbers, and he's been a huge part of this team's success. Alec Mills has a number 4 pitcher, a 3.77 ERA, and a 1.121 whip. Those are all great numbers there. And Albert Arzolay has the number 5, 3.8 ERA, 103 hits allowed, but 47 runs allowed this season. Those are really good numbers, really a lot better than last year. So, as a number 5 pitcher, that's about all you can ask for a guy like him. But yeah, the starting rotation this year for this team has been incredible this season. And Craig Stammen, as this long reliever, oh my goodness, 36 innings and only 6 runs allowed all season. He's getting tankies in overall for sure, but man, has he been pitching great this season. Tyler Matzik has been pretty good here. 31 innings for him, 3.69 ERA. Michael Givens, trash. Probably no need to keep him up here in the majors too much longer. JT Chargois, 39.2 innings, 12 runs allowed. Really good stuff there. Archie Bradley, 23 innings pitched, and has only allowed 7 runs this season so far. Only walked in 6 guys there, it said. And then Jose Alvarez, putting him into the closer role, and he's 12 out of 14 so far this season. He's been incredible, and has only given up 3 runs in 28.2 innings this year. Only has allowed 2 homers. Only has struck out 12 guys, so definitely not a strong suit for him. But my goodness, limit space runners, the whip is at 0.8 and does not give up any runs. So Jose Alvarez this season balling out so far, and we'll see what he can do as his team's closer going into the second half of the year. And then down here in the minors, you got Clint Priester, who's pretty close to being Major League ready. I don't know, maybe we'll see him this season at some point. This team's pitching staff is good enough that might not actually happen. We'll have to see, but yeah, 3.51 ERA, pretty decent numbers for Clint Priester this year. And then you got Sol Taylor, who increasing in potential. That's pretty cool, increased potential there, and he's been insane down here in AAA. 61.2 innings, 12 runs if allowed is it for him, 15 walks, and a 0.92 whip, 1.1 WAR. Those are incredible numbers, and those are numbers that might actually get him a Major League appearance this season, even at 18 years old. Those are incredible numbers there. Speaking of incredible numbers, Julio Gonzalez, this guy looks like an absolute beast, man. Only 18 years old. He looks so good already. 17 saves, only 3 blown this season. 6 runs allowed across 27 innings. Some awesome increases already, including in that really important hit per 9 stat for him there, +4. 0.9 whip. I mean, one of the best minor league closers in baseball, and I don't know if we'll see him in the majors. That might be rushing him a little bit, but yeah, some really intriguing minor league pitchers down here in the bullpen for this team. As we look at the major league lineup here, and Michael Brantley going down -8 to Kleiner versus lefties, -5 in the division. Those are pretty bad decreases, and I don't really understand why. I mean, I guess he's 35 years old, but, like, got a 274 batting average, a 350 on base, like, 341 on base. Like, these are good numbers for him. 804 OPS, 90 total hits, and gonna top his home run total from last year and his RBI total. Well, you know, barring disaster in the second half of the season, but he's been an awesome leadoff hitter for this team. And Garrett Cooper has his number 2 hitter role. I mean, didn't really have high expectations from him going into this season. Was maybe going to be kind of a weaker link of this offense, but my goodness, 361 on base percentage and a 438 slugging. I mean, 800 OPS. Like, these are fantastic numbers for Garrett Cooper. Corey Seager, I mean, he's hitting the ball really well. 338 on base for him, a 780 OPS, so the above average league-wide, and 16 home runs, 48 RBIs. Take those numbers as a number 3 hitter. Jose Altuve, he's been hitting the ball really well too, and maybe not nearly as good as last year so far, but a 754 OPS, and definitely the slugging is a little bit down for him so far this season, but still really good, solid number 4 hitter. Then Joey Gallo supplies all your power that you could ever need. 29 home runs. Gonna be, I don't know if he leads the AL in that category. He might, but definitely gonna be in that home run derby. Have a good shot at winning that home run derby this season. 842 OPS, 29 home runs at the All-Star break is pretty incredible, and his defense is really awesome as well. 2.9 WAR. Yeah, I mean, I'd say that they've won that trade so far. Joey Gallo has been a big piece to this team this year for sure. Full season for him. On this roster, Anthony Santander, below 700 OPS, so not hitting the ball all that great. Josh Jung, some increases here, +1, +2 across the board, really for him. But I like his season so far. I like the numbers he's putting up as 726 OPS. The slugging is definitely low for him, but overall, I think he's doing fine. And Michael Busch, 25 years old. I mean, also +2s and +1s for him. And 180 at bats, 51 games so far. He's got an 810 OPS, and he's got a 293 batting average, 27 walks already. So he's getting on base at a good rate for sure. Like to see those numbers. And then Corey Lee, maybe not as good. Last year was actually really good for him as a rookie. And this season so far, 336 on base, 245 batting average. Like, those are not bad numbers, especially for a catcher. 751 OPS. I mean, pretty comparable to last year in a lot of those areas. So he's been pretty fine at the bottom of this order. But yeah, you look at this team and you look at its age. I mean, this team is overall pretty young, and there's a lot of guys up in the wings in the farm system to watch out for. Christian Pache, some minor increases here in his attributes. I put him in the lineup for a little bit this season, and his numbers definitely took a decline. But overall, those numbers are not awful for him. He's a good bench guy to have for sure for this team. I'd like him to start at some point, but this team roster right now is so full that I don't know where we're going to fit him on to the team. But we'll have to figure that out as the season goes on. And then, there's some really good star power down here in the minor league system with this team. And Curtis Mead is starting that off, and +8 to Kleiner versus lefties this season. His defense is really good. I want the discipline and the clutch to go up a lot more. But 741 OPS for him, a 300 average, and a 350 on base. So getting on base, doing that at a very good rate down there in AA or AAA. Overall, been hitting the ball really well. But, I mean, the absolute star of the show on this team down here in the minor leagues is Wes Adams. This guy, the last pick of the draft, +9 to Kleiner versus lefties, +5 to power, and just incredible increases Went up from an 89 potential to a 90, and he's now an A potential hitter and an A potential player. But look at those stats: 372 batting average, 8 848 slugging, 943 OPS, 4.1 WAR, 28 stolen bases this year, a 458 on base percentage. That's the highest base percentage I've ever seen it down here for a hitter in AAA. That's absolutely insane. 130 hits this year, 23 doubles, 51 walks to 63 strikeouts. I mean, these hitting ratings for him are going up like crazy. His potential is increasing. He's been putting up the best. I mean, he's putting up the best numbers statistically across all of AAA this season. And he was, again, the last pick of the draft by this team last season. Just absolutely insane. What he's doing right now is crazy. Nick Gordon, they have him as well on this roster, and he's pretty close to being Major League ready, and he's doing well down here at AAA as well, +5 to some of those attributes. But, I mean, Wes Adams, I'm going to have to seriously consider having him make a Major League appearance this year, which would be insane. He just was drafted, but my goodness, his stats at AAA are so ridiculously good that he probably deserves to get a Major League look maybe, and he's going to be a starter by next season. That's how good he already is. I just can't get over how ridiculously good Wes Adams is down there at AAA, and how good this team is here overall in Los Angeles. And we go over to the Scorpions here, and Tyler Glasnow at 3.51 ERA for him so far, 1.24 WHIP. Those numbers are fine for him. He does have a lot of walks this year, I think, though, 60 of them. Aaron Civale has actually been this team's best pitcher and one of the better pitchers in baseball so far. 2.58 ERA and a 1.1 WHIP, 15 quality starts in 20 games started. That's really impressive. So only 38 runs allowed all season. I mean, he's basically their ace this season right now, and those are really good numbers for him. Jake Odorizzi, 3.99 ERA for him, so those are fine numbers as their number 3. Adrian Hauser has been terrible, absolutely dreadful this season. Jackson Jobe has been okay. He's been pretty decent. Good increases, though. +4 to home run per 9 and +2 to everything else so far. But a 3.69 ERA. The WHIP is a little bit high. Does have a lot of hits given up this year, but overall, those are fine numbers, especially for a rookie pitcher in this game. I'll take those numbers all day. And he's made 18 starts, so he's been getting action in that starting role. And then you go to the bullpen, and Justin Dunn just has incredibly bad walk per 9, and so he just walks a crap ton of people, 37 of them this year. He's just not good, and I don't know if he's ever really going to be a good relief pitcher because of that. So probably should call him back down. Again, a 1.8 WHIP is just terrible. Michael Lorenzen, 3.61 ERA. Fine. Nick Sandlin has been god-awful this year, too. Sal Romano has been really good, actually, though. One of the best relievers on this pitching staff, too. 26 innings for him this year. And he was good last year, but 5 runs allowed, 3 lost runs, basically the same amount of innings for him this season. Really good stuff there. Josh Taylor, not great. Genesis Cabrera, though, kind of a younger reliever here that's actually having a really good season. 4 runs is all that he's allowed, 21 holds in 20.1 innings this season. So those are awesome numbers for Cabrera this season. And then Taylor Rogers as this team's closer. 84 overall here. Not a lot of a change in his attributes, but 29 saves and 32 opportunities there. 1.26 ERA, 1.04 WHIP. So, I mean, those are incredible numbers. 3 home runs allowed has been it for him. Only has walked 8 guys all season. And has only allowed 5 earned runs. So, definitely seeing really good numbers from a couple of guys in this team's bullpen. But overall, the starting pitching, I don't know, is it deep enough? This team is going to be a team wanting to make a playoff push, and that's going to be a question they're going to have to ask. So going to their offense, Wander Franco, who has been good, getting some increases there, up to an 86 overall now, and power isn't great. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of RBIs, I guess. The bottom of the order isn't getting on base for him, but 292 batting average, 379 on base. You can't complain about that for your leadoff hitter at all in any way. Nathaniel Lowe, 241 batting average for him. Some minor increases, 316 on base, 10 home runs. I was on pace to get more home runs than he had last year, but those numbers are just fine. Marcus Semien, 728 OPS. I mean, 222 average is not very good. 320 on base is okay. He's a fine number 3 hitter for you. And then Hunter Renfroe, 22 home runs is actually quite a bit for him. 789 OPS, 307 on base is okay. So he's been all right as a number 4. Alec Boehm, some minor increases there, +3 to power versus lefties and contact versus lefties. And he's got a 278 batting average with a 740 OPS. Adam Hazley has actually been really good, really strong as this team's kind of utility guy, +4 in contact versus lefties. His power has gone up by quite a bit because his power has been really good this year. His slugging is really good. And 13 home runs, 15 doubles for him, 37 ribbies. He's been a solid contributor in this lineup for sure. And Tyrone Taylor, not a lot of increases, just very okay, very league average. Hoyle Follow, he is in a cold streak right now, and I mean, these are good numbers for a catcher. He still has an over 800 OPS, so I'd say that they're getting good value from him. They got him from New York this season. Henry Davis, contact numbers are going down. His power versus lefties went way up this year, but yeah, you can see why the contact numbers are declining that badly. He just does not get on base. He's not doing that very well this season, and honestly, I might take him out of the lineup. I just don't like those numbers. And Edwin Rios, called him up to the majors, and he has sucked since he's been up here, actually. Only Bonifacio on the bench has not been too bad, but man, Henry Davis just not cutting it for me. So the offense is okay. It's not super deep, though, and that's kind of the biggest issue that I see with it. Ryan Bliss has been okay this season. Johnny Houston, I mean, those hitting ratings are pretty decent, actually. I kind of want to see what he may want to do. I might want to see what he can do in the majors. And I might want to see what Robert Newstrom can do in the majors in the second half of the season. His hitting ratings are pretty decent. His defense is really solid. And he does have an 811 OPS down here at AAA. These are good numbers for him. So we might see Robert Newstrom get some major league action this year. Now, Ramon Urias, by the way, is kind of cranking it in AAA right now. He was up in the majors, 469 at-bats, really was struggling in the major league level, but, he's got the 99 contact versus righties, but over 1,000 OPS and 98 at-bats down there at AAA. And then down there at AA, Dave Franco, +1 increases basically across the board for him, and he's been hitting really well down here in AA. I might see what he can do in AAA this season. 851 OPS, 294 batting average is awesome. And then Luis Rios, they kind of started out slow down here at AA, but +5, +7, he's crushing lefties so far this year, apparently. 69 overall now, and his defense is improving, and 709 OPS, 261 batting average. Like, those AAA numbers aren't insane, but I do think, he's got 90, 99 potential, so I'm going to have him get opportunities at AAA next season because I do think that he probably will be starting on this Major League roster at the start of next year, so want to get him some AAA and higher action this season. And then Damon Colon, I mean, the defense for him is still really low, but I really like his offensive ratings, and I know he's only a 62 overall, and he's only 19. I don't want to rush him, but man, he's really getting close to being in the majors, I think. 396 on base percentage is ridiculous down here at AA, so he is getting on base like crazy. He's crushing it, and I think I might see him in AAA this season. Might give him some action. And then we go to the Reapers here, and Jose Barrios has been lights out, all-star game participant probably. I mean, I'm assuming 137 innings, has only allowed 37 walks all year, 121 strikeouts, 16 quality starts. I think that leads the National League. He's been fantastic. He's been so good this season. And Ron Yarbrough, honestly, super solid. 106 whip for him. Just doesn't walk anybody, really. And a 3.2 ERA. Super solid. Mike Minor, very solid numbers for him as a number 3 pitcher. 3.86 ERA and a 1.22 whip. Very similar to what he did last year. But the bottom two here, well, Adam Wainwright, we'll see his numbers. He's been pretty good. Matthew Liberatore has not. He doesn't have a big sample size, obviously, so 33 innings is all he's pitched so far. But yeah, 1.7 whip is not ideal. But you're going to be shocked at these numbers for Adam Wainwright. 41 years old, only a 67 overall pitcher. But look at these numbers. This is some of the best numbers that we've seen him put up in his career. I mean, a 2.68 ERA, 1.17 whip, 14 quality starts, and a shutout this year. Doesn't strike out a lot of guys, I'll give you that, but doesn't walk a lot, doesn't give up a lot of home runs. I mean, 35 earned runs, just has not allowed a lot of runs at all this season, and 19 starts for 14 of those to be quality. He is putting up incredible numbers. This is his last year in the major leagues. I'm going to have him, retire and not sign with anybody after this season, and he is ending with a bang right now. He's pitching so well this year. George Kirby, rookie year, 4.88 ERA. Not too bad. 4.88 ERA is okay. But this bullpen, Adam Hudson, Chris Archer is not good. Like, this bullpen is way worse than it was last year. Jeffrey Springs is really struggling this year. Alex Vesia is not, though. He's been really solid. 29 innings for him and has only allowed a handful of runs. And Ryan Presley has been really good. And this signing, I was like, maybe they don't really need Ryan Presley, but oh my goodness, they needed Ryan Presley this season. 18 saves and 19 opportunities. He's only allowed 6 runs, 21 strikeouts, a sub-1 whip. He is one of the best closers in baseball, and they absolutely needed him because this bullpen right now, it's just very weak and not that great. And Leonardo DeSantos, I've had to calm down because he's been struggling so much. And there's just not any guys down here in the minors I can call up and can rely on. So the bullpen might be kind of the death knell of this team trying to get back to the playoffs after winning the World Series last year. Their bullpen is just not good. Philip Hinojo there, I mean, really low walk, or really no hit per nine, and he has given up a lot of hits, but overall 20 saves and 22 opportunities. He's been pitching well down there in Double-A overall. And then look at the offense here, and I don't think the offense is nearly as potent as it was last year, and you'll kind of see why here. Luis Garcia, 218 average, 275 on base, like terrible, pretty bad numbers. I got to take him out of the leadoff spot. If anything here, he's just not hitting well at all. Alex Bregman is hitting very well, though. 321 batting average, plus 7 to contact versus righties. 118 hits. That's got to be up there in the league leaders. And 406 on base percentage. So he probably leads the league in terms of average and on base right now. 927 OPS for him. So Alex Bregman has been incredible. His defense is whatever. But as long as you're putting up offensive numbers like that, you don't really care how good your defense is. But yeah, Alex Bregman has been fantastic. He's probably going to be the all-star starter I think he's playing third base for this team right now, but 406 on base is pretty ridiculous. And then Freddie Freeman, I mean, the 2-3-4 in this batting order is absolutely insane still. And Freddie Freeman, 975 OPS, my goodness, that's probably up there, tops in the American League. And a 351 on base percentage of 4.1 WAR, because his defense is actually very good. Yeah, those numbers are absolutely insane for him. And again, 3-4-5 of Bregman, Freeman, and Devers, probably the best 3-4-5 combination of hitters in all of baseball, because Rafael Devers is also a MVP candidate right now this season. A 592 slugging and 948 OPS, leading the American League, I think, in home runs with 27, leading the American League, I think, in RBIs as well with 82. 26 doubles. I mean, these numbers are off the charts for him, and he's a free agent, by the way, at the end of the year, so he's going to be sought after for sure. 2.1 WAR for him as well, because his defense isn't amazing, but gosh, those offensive numbers are ridiculous for Rafael Devers. Yeah, I mean, he's going to want max money, and he's going to deserve it. And then J.D. Martinez, definitely getting tanked right now, definitely going down way much here, but I mean, not because his numbers are bad at all. 362 on base for him is really high. So yeah, he's hitting the ball really well. But so outside of those like 4 hitters right there, this lineup is not great. Jesus Sanchez has not been very good this year at all. Sheldon Norris, 38 games. It's a decent enough sample. He's been hitting the ball pretty well. But James McCann is just not good, man. He's not a good hitting catcher at all. And Mike Yastrzemski, is also not good at all. And a very league average kind of hitter here, 12 home runs, 44 RBIs. So, again, you look at the 2 through 4 or 2 through 5 hitters on this lineup. It's very, very good, very solid. Jonathan Scope actually doing really well off the bench. But beyond that, not a very deep lineup there. You got a lot of holes in this lineup. And, man, Alberto Mondesi just trash this season. He was so bad this year. I cannot start him. And Mike Drew off the bench has been pretty decent. I mean, he's kind of capped out, though. Not going to get a lot better. But, yeah, I think you can still really tell why this team is kind of struggling a little bit. And they're struggling in some of those key areas and just have some holes right now. James Outman is really their only offensive prospect of note on this team. And I don't think he's really ready for the majors yet. He's doing okay down here in AAA. There's not really anybody down here. There's Jimmy Forbes. He was okay and developing a little bit, but still really underdeveloped as a hitter. And actually, 107 at-bats for him has been pretty bad so far. But yeah, not a lot of prospects to speak of either on this team. So we go to the Diablos here, and the Diablos best team in the National League or American League record-wise, at least tied for that. And Brandon Roderoff has allowed 31 runs at 136 innings this season, 135 strikeouts, 37 walks, 1.03 whip, and a 2.05 ERA, 11 and 3 in 20 starts. He is the Cy Young leader right now, and there's really no doubt about that. 16 quality starts already is ridiculous. Yeah, Brandon Woodruff is putting up unreal numbers, and I mean, he's not going to have a 2 ERA for the whole second half of the season, but he's going to be the favorite to win the. He's going for the Cy Young right now, and he's on pace to get it. And then Logan Gilbert's honestly not very good. 4.97 ERA is pretty high. Shane McClanahan, pretty solid, 3.54 ERA for him. They'll definitely take that. And nothing take what Jared Eichhoff is doing right now. If there's anybody that has competition with Brandon Woodruff for the Cy Young right now, it's his teammate Jared Eichhoff, who's putting up similarly insane numbers this year. 30 runs allowed for him in 128 innings, 2.1 ERA, 15 wins this year already, 15-1 record. That's nuts so far this season. And in 19 games started for him, 103 strikeouts, 19 games started for him. I don't know what his quality starts are, but I mean, those are insane numbers for him. And we've showcased him this season. But yeah, Jared Eichhoff, Brandon Woodruff, two of the best pitchers in baseball right now, and they're both on the same team. Kind of crazy. Well, Bednar has been Tyler Hearn has not been great. 4.74 ERA and a 1.5 whip basically for him. Jason Adam has been pretty decent. Emilio Pagan has been pretty good, actually. 3.57 ERA in 35 innings, 614 runs allowed, not too bad. Adam Simber, please give him more innings. Why have they only given him 7.1 innings this season? That's really kind of frustrating, actually, because he was amazing last year. I mean, especially when you have, like, Aaron Loop and Jason Adam. Like, these guys are not pitching well. Why? I don't know. Why are they not giving him more innings? But Matt Strom, 25 holds, 2.14 ERA, basically a 1 whip. He's been fantastic this year in the setup role. And Josh Hader, 16 runs is kind of a lot, but 32 saves so far, 45 strikeouts, so he's been pitching pretty well. And, overall, I don't know, the bullpen I think could be stronger. Starting pitching staff could maybe be stronger on this team, but there's definitely some standouts. And you go to the offense, and this is where this team is really deep and makes a lot, why they're so good right now. One of the biggest reasons for that, they're one of the best offenses in the American League. And Cronenworth, man, 814 OPS, get on base really well. I like him as a leadoff hitter right now. Independent Attendee, 683 OPS. That signing hasn't really worked for them so far this year. Tim Anderson, a 732 OPS. He's been pretty decent. Just Monte Grandal is kind of getting tanked in overall. 242 average for him is 778 OPS, 18 home runs. So definitely the power dropped off a lot for him. Overall, those numbers aren't like terrible or anything. Josh Bell, 837 OPS for him, though, 367 on base. Really good. He's getting on base really, really well. Mike Moustakas is also getting on base really well. These numbers are pretty insane. 375 on base percentage and 854 OPS for a guy that, looked like he was out of his prime. And all of a sudden, he's putting up like a career year right now. Pretty crazy. Sal Frelick is improving, but he doesn't really get on base a lot. He has no power whatsoever. So overall, those numbers are just not very good for him. And I don't know. I mean, I don't really want to take him out of the lineup, but I don't really know what to do with that either. +9 for JJ Bleday in his ratings here. In the contact versus righties, +4 and power ratings. I mean, and there's a reason why his numbers this year have been absolutely fantastic. An 830 OPS, 339 on base. Let me look at how much better these numbers are than we did last year. He already has basically a career high in home runs and RBIs. He's getting on base like crazy really well. So, yeah, JJ Bleday having an awesome year. Isaac Paredes, okay, 765 at bats, league average hitter there, and basically 700 OPS. So, I mean, it's a pretty well-rounded offense overall for this team, and it's a well-rounded team overall, I'd say. Garrett Stubbs +7 to Conner versus lefties. I don't know, maybe we fit him in on the team somehow this season. I'm not sure going forward. But Vogelbach really crushing it at AAA, but don't know if we'll see any Major League action from him. And then MJ Melendez, 262 batting average. I'm going to consider calling him up at the deadline. I don't know if that's going to happen for sure. But +5 to contact versus lefties for him. And +2 to pretty much everything else. And his numbers, 738 OPS, 328 on base. Like, those are not bad numbers, really. As a catcher, I'll definitely take those numbers for him. And some good increases. Well, Willie Calhoun, interesting guy here, +5 in contact versus righties. He's increasing in a lot of his stats really well, and he's hitting like crazy down here at AAA. Maybe we'll see him in some Major League action this year. 935 OPS is pretty impressive. And down here at AA, you got Salvatore Nieve, +4, some +4s in discipline and contact versus righties there. And yeah, these are good numbers for him in AA, and I think we'll see him in some AAA games this season. 375 on base is really good. 56 walks to 51 strikeouts actually is really impressive. So he's getting on base really well, and that's really encouraging stuff there. Robert Hassel as well, +6 to contact versus righties. He's improving by quite a bit. He's got a potential, only 21 years old, and he's putting up an 806 OPS down here in AA. So those are awesome numbers for him. Those are both guys that I think could get a shot at AAA this year for this team. Okay, we only got a few teams left here, and one of them is the Vipers. Tanner Houck, this team's ace, a 3.92 ERA and a 1.22 WHIP for him. Kyle Freeland, 1.14 WHIP here, and the ERA below 4, which is actually pretty decent. Eric Fetty, 1.16 WHIP there, pretty good ERA. Wade Miley, under 3 ERA for him so far this season, 35 runs allowed in total, and 36 years old. I think that's a trade candidate right there. Nick Lodolo, look at these numbers for Nick Lodolo. He's kind of popping off right now. 306 ERA, 104 strikeouts for him, 37 runs. Total equality starts. I mean, those are Rookie of the Year type of numbers. Him and Eduardo Venezuela have pretty comparable numbers, actually, for that award right now. And he's pitching really well. Justice Sheffield, no, and pretty terrible. Jake McGee, not amazing. Charlie Gray is pretty high whip right there. Just below 4 ERA. Zach Thompson, 3.21 ERA, 10 runs for him allowed so far. Ryan Harper, also 10 runs allowed for him in 36 innings. So those are good numbers for sure. Deo Castillo, 21 innings, a 3.38 ERA. And Andrew Kittredge, 30 years old, 21 saves, 3 blown, 30 strikeouts, a 3 ERA for him, and a sub-1 whip. The whip is really low at 0.87. So the lineup here, not a lot to show because this offense is just not very good. One of the worst in the National League. Fortunately, y'all know, as a leadoff hitter, is doing a pretty good job here. 261 average for him. Oneil Cruz is absolutely awful. 263 on base. I don't know why he does so bad. He's doing so bad in this league. Like, he's got good attributes or whatever. Spencer Torkelson, though, not hitting lefties very well at all this season, apparently. And has only a 730 OPS. After his Rookie of the Year season, you might want, you probably expect better from him. And you expect better from Byron Buxton, too. 229 on base percentage. I mean, seriously? has walked 11 times this year. Like, that's just absolutely awful. And so is JT Realmuto. I mean, those are not impressive numbers for him either. Ramo Tapia has been fine, but he's really more of a platoon type of player, very league average type of guy there. Kevin Pillar hasn't been very good, and is he really tradable? I don't really think so. Luis Guillorme, got some good increases. His on base has definitely risen in the last couple of months, but still has only a 678 OPS. So like he's getting on base, but that's about it. That's all he's really doing right now. And then the bench is like fine, I guess, but man, this offense is just not very good, struggling a lot on that side of the ball. And then Dominic Canzone, I called him up. He had 13 games this year. He just really struggled. He's not doing that much better in AAA right now. And Henry Fisher, I don't think I'm going to rush Henry Fisher up to the majors this season. But, the average, the on base, pretty low, but does have 14 home runs, 21 doubles, 737 OPS. So it's like not amazing, not awful stats really for Henry Fisher. And Nick Gonzalez, I think might see him at some point this year. 694 OPS. He's not hitting amazing at AAA, but his stats are really close to being major league ready. And then you got Adrian Morejon down here at AAA, and he's been good in 98 innings so far, 3.39 ERA, basically 100 strikeouts. Gavin Williams, we had to call him down because he was not increasing that much in the majors, and he was really struggling up there. So he's in the minors now. Hopefully he can pitch well and improve on his stats. Josh Boras, might need to call him up because, I don't know, this bullpen is okay. In 33 innings, he's been awesome. Sean Robles has been really good down here at AA for this team, up to a 69 overall, 3.05 ERA for him in 56 innings so far, 60 strikeouts. So, yeah, really good numbers overall for him this year so far. So now we got a couple teams left. We're going to the Jazz here, and John Means is this team's ace, and he is awesome. And I'm going to be considering trading him for sure on this roster because he does not walk anybody. He doesn't give up a lot of base runners. But Freddie Peralta has given up a lot of base runners. So was Tony Consolin. Luis Severino, 4.02 ERA. David Peterson is really bad. I mean, this starting pitching besides John Means is just terrible. It's just not there at all. Corey Kluber, 36 years old. I mean, pitching this well, why not? Try to see what kind of value you can get from him. I definitely think he's going to be on the trading block. 3.7 ERA and a whip of just around 1. And we're going to put him in the starting rotation here. But yeah, those are good numbers for him. Next to the bullpen, Matt Wisler. A little bit minor injury, but a 2.7 ERA for him. 12 runs allowed. Really good numbers there. Hansel Robles has been pretty good. Limited sample, only 16 innings. Oliver Drake, 26 innings for him so far, and 8 runs allowed. Craig Kimbrell has been really bad, 1.5 whip for him there, though. Garrett Crochet, 25 saves in 26 opportunities. This is his kind of role now, and he's been pitching awesome this year. 6 runs allowed for him all season. We got to put somebody else there in the setup role for this team. Man, we got to do it. And it's probably going to be Matt Wisler. He's going to be healthy by the time the second half of the season starts. Down here in the minors, I called down Shane Baz back to AAA because he was putting up, 5 ERA in the majors, and 65 innings for him so far in AAA have gone really well. So I want to call him back up. Want to see what he can do maybe at that point. Luis Medina, pretty close to Major League ready, actually. He's got some good ratings there. And Enrique Modernos, 3.32 ERA and a 1.23 whip. Those are decent numbers for him so far at AAA. So there's a couple of decent pitching prospects down here for this team. Landon Knack is an interesting reliever maybe to look at for the rest of the season. Then you got Oliver Morgan, who might not be that bad to bring up as well on the Major League level. And then down at AA, they got their first-round pick in Robbie Roy, who's doing well, +2s, and a +3 to his walk pride. He's not walking a lot of guys really at all. 106 innings, a 1.08 whip, and 110 strikeouts, 12 quality starts, 3.2 WAR. Robbie Roy pitching awesome. Probably see him in the Futures game coming up. He's been pitching really well. So is Bobby Miller, actually 97 innings, and has only allowed 30 runs. Don't know what his potential is, but he might have a shot at AAA action this year, maybe. Daniel Espino, 2.5 ERA, so far for him. Some good increases there, and 8 starts for him so far this season. So actually really good numbers. See what he can do in the second half of the year. So offensively, there's Jazz Chisholm, who's actually kind of struggled on offense, only batting, just above 300 there, or 200. Ryan Mountcastle has been good, though. 949 OPS for him. 26 home runs. That's almost ties when he did all of last year. 2.9 WAR, and he had a negative WAR. His defense has improved a lot this year, apparently. And so good numbers for him, for sure. One of the better hitters on this team. And then you got Salvador Perez, who, doesn't have any average or on base, but does hit home runs, and he's got 18 of them so far this season. Jared Kelenic, 367 on base for him, 775 OPS. Those are pretty decent numbers overall. He's still only 23 years old, so pretty good there. Avisail Garcia, definitely a guy that I can consider trading. He's on the block, and this season, 826 OPS, 21 home runs, already 5 more than he had all of last year, so Avisail Garcia doing well, and one of the better, kind of more underrated hitters on this team, I feel like. And then Josh Harrison has been really bad, 215 batting average. And yeah, that's just not what we want to see there. And Aaron Ciarte has been fine, 672 OPS, whatever. Yohan Moncada has also been fine, painfully average to, considering his potential, 732 OPS. I just want to see him, kind of take that next step and be a star in this league, and he just hasn't done it so far yet this season. Mauricio Dubon has been okay. The offense is not deep on this team. It's not a lot of star power here on this lineup and in this batting order, and this team just not all that great. Called down Bubba Thompson. He's got some good increases, but had to call him down because he was batting 229 in 157 at-bats this season, really struggling there. And Marcelo Meyer has actually not been that bad down here in a AAA, and I do think he'll get another shot at the major league level. We'll probably have him be called back up again going into his call period and everything like that, because he's putting up 721 OPS. Those are fine AAA numbers for him, and he's up to a 76 overall now. But other than that, AAA level, there's nobody really else to talk about. There's a couple of guys in AA. Anthony Volpe, still a pretty underdeveloped hitter, but power versus lefties has gone up pretty well. Not hitting very well down here in AA, though. And that's about it in terms of the AA prospects. So we go to OKC here, and Max Fried, as this team's ace, has actually really struggled. Over 5 ERA for him. And look at all the cold streaks on this pitching staff. Everybody besides Tanner Tolley is on a cold streak right now. Joe Musgrove has not pitched well. This has not ended up being a good trade, really, for OKC. Sonny Gray has not been pitching well. Joe Stratton has not been good. Reed Detmers has really struggled. Some very, very minor increases for him this year so far. Richard Rodriguez, not very good. Jose Ruiz, first guy in his pitching staff that actually has been doing his job well. 37 innings and has only allowed 7 earned runs and 1.7 ERA for him so far this year. Jonathan Loaizaga, okay, really good whip. Under 1 right there. 17 walks, 35 hits allowed in 55 innings, and only 17 runs allowed total. So really good numbers for him, and he's up to an 81 overall now. Rafael Montero has been fine. 17 innings for him. Phil Bickford, 2.31 ERA, 23 innings, 6 earned runs. Actually really good as a setup man. And Marcelo Iglesias, yeah, the ERA is kind of high, actually. 15 runs for him. He gave up only 4 more of those in 55 innings last year. But overall, I actually think the bullpen is not all that bad. The starting pitching is definitely a concern, though. And then down here in the minors, they had called it Kyle Muller start the year in the majors, and he pitched 39 innings that went absolutely terribly for him. Gave up 31 runs in those innings and had an over 2 whip. So called him back down to AAA, and he's been fine down here in 10 starts. I mean, the whip is still pretty high for him, and I don't really know why. I mean, I guess his walk rate is kind of low, but his other pitching stats are pretty good. But yeah, that is unfortunate that we have not seen him develop at all. And then, of course, down here at AA, you got the superstar, first round pick, a potential 75 overall Derek Lamar. How is he doing? Well, he's doing all right. 3.45 ERA, 1.38 whip in 18 starts so far. So he's giving up a lot of hits And I mean, that is certainly where his weakness lies, in his hip line, and you can see that he's giving up a ton of them this year. So he has got to get work on that before I want to call him up. I don't want to call him up this year, maybe not even next year. I mean, we might be. I think this team will probably have him in the majors next year at some point, but he'll probably get some AAA action maybe this year. We'll see. But overall, he's been pitching okay. McAble has been pitching pretty well. He's on a hot streak as well. So, not a ton of guys down there prospect-wise that can really help this team out a ton. So, offense. Okay, yeah, Nover Marte, and this offense is actually pretty good here. +7. Nover Marte increasing a lot, and his slugging is way up this year. He's already matched his home run total from a year ago, and already almost at that RBI mark, 772 OPS. He's going to be an absolute beast. He's only 21 years old. He is going to be a superstar in this league and is already kind of cementing himself as a star right now. And you're paying him like a minor league contract, which is ridiculous. Andrew Vaughn has been pretty good. 714 OPS, 11 home runs. So, yeah, he's on a cold streak right now, but overall pretty good. Manny Machado, of course, is going to be a beast. He is awesome and great stats, 95 overall. Of course, he's going to hit really well. 872 OPS, 22 home runs so far, 2.1 WAR. Going to be in that All-Star game, very likely. Brandon Lau actually playing pretty well, I'd say. 256 average, slightly higher in both average and on-base percentage this year, and that OPS is higher as well. 17 home runs and 63 RBIs for him. Jock Peterson, 253 average, 317 on base, 373 OPS. I mean, he's not like knocking the charts off or anything, but he's doing his job pretty well. And Alex Dickerson, I like the signing for OKC. I thought it made a lot of sense for them, and he's doing well here in Oklahoma City. 97 hits, actually raising that average in the on-base a ton. He's walked 50 times already this year. He walked 48 times all of last year, which is really impressive. And then Sean Murphy, good increases for him here, and is actually very solid with the bat still, too. 11 home runs, a 758 OPS, a 2.8 WAR overall. Pretty good catcher there. Hernan Perez, threw 7 out on base, a very average hitter. Whit Merrifield is also a very average hitter, and 24 stolen bases. He had 60 last year. I don't think he's on pace for 60 this season as well, but he also has not gotten on base as much as he did last season either. And then the bench, Lorenzo Cain has been fine off the bench. He's been okay. Tony Kemp has also been pretty good off the bench and limited sample size. Robert Rosan, I don't know why this game keeps calling him up when I don't want them to, but 51 at-bats, he hasn't done anything in those at-bats yet. So, yeah, I think overall it's a good offense, and some stars on this offense for sure. Down here at AAA, not a lot of offensive prospects really for this team. Heston Kjerstad, I guess, is 786 OPS, 372 on base. So he's doing well in AAA. I'm not sure whether we'll see him in the majors or not, though. And, okay, AA. Yeah, there's not a lot of players here in AA. This team's offensive farm system is, again, very limited. So that's going to be it. That's going to be all the players, and we will focus on that. So that was the AL recap, and it's all over here in this episode. So we will recap the National League, or the American League. Oh, sorry. We just recapped the National League. We'll recap the National League next time, and we'll take a look at the league leaders and everything, and we'll take a look at the All-Star voting, how that's going to pan out, and who to expect in that All-Star game. Thank you guys so much for watching this one. That recap video should come out next week at some point, and we'll be back with recapping the National League next time. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I will see you in the next one. God bless.